Good deal. It was, but.
Outside of that.
Oh, is that?
Look at you.
Hi. Yeah. There's a whole acre to expand on, though.
Is that,
That's good.
I guess that would be their driveway, huh?
Yeah.
It's just right at the end, I think, where he's not putting it all the way down where the shop is, it's probably obvious he's not doing anything with it at the shop.
Well,
If I
they're
could
asking
make-
for this to be allowed anyway.
Vehicle on the trailer sitting, I mean, that doesn't seem like a.
Oh, they wanna,
And we're worried about the pile of rocks that are on the road on,
there's a reason it's not.
that have been there forever, that shouldn't be there.
Right. I was gonna steal them and say, oh, I thought these were free there on public property.
I wanna go, team is bored, but like, are you doing something with them, or is that for the Hamlin, trying to finish up what his project is, what are the rocks? And then there's no lost time.
On this one?
I'm just gonna go get Andrew's front end loader and just load them all up at once and take them to the house.
I don't think anybody would miss them. I'm sure if it does snow, the snowplow guy will be glad that it's gone.
The neighbors will have it in their front yard, the snowplow guy. So,
Imagine if it was that, oh.
All right, well, I guess are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we had a little pre-discussion in the pre-meeting, now we'll get to the pre-meeting. So. Looks like election minutes, legislative item number 3, Felix, you wanna run us up?
Yeah, sure thing. To start off, Happy New Year to you guys. Hope everybody had a festive, good time with the family and everything, and now we're back at it, back to work, so I guess I'm live where I am. But tonight, the discussion topic will be around a development agreement that was previously approved by the planning commission, and they are working on getting things finalized with the Parks District and the Sewer District, things like that. So that way they're prepared for the county commissioner's approval. And we had a county commission approval, or we had a county commission work session. Just kind of leading up to actual public meeting with the county commission. And the county commission had quite a few comments that they wanted the developer to take care of. And so one of the main reasons why we're back here is because what the developer would like to do is include some language in the development agreement that allows them to look at the Longhorn and the Meibos development together, almost as one. And then that way, the density from those two can be utilized. And the reason why that's, I think that the reason why that's maybe could be supported is that you have a 17-acre park right in the heart of this development. And it's kind of sandwiched in between Longhorn and Meibos land. And so what we've done is we've put together a development agreement language that specifies the cap. And the cap is based on the gross acreage. You know, I want to say 104 acres times that base density, that 2.9 units per acre. And so in effect, what you would be left with is Longhorn development, which they're already at the subdivision phase. But Longhorn development, they didn't maximize the density with their subdivision plan. Part of the reason why is because you have the main road coming up through, but you also have a large detention basin area and quite a bit of park space. And so typically what they do is that you could take that gross acreage, which what we allow them to do is take the gross acreage of the property and not have to deduct park space or roads or pathways. Allow them to maximize the density simply based on gross acreage. And so as the Longhorn plan is drawn right now, they're showing 84 lots. And that's not the maximum potential that Longhorn could reach. Because if you're looking at the amount of acreage Longhorn has, it's 40 acres. 40 acres times 2.9, it gives you 116 lots. And so they're quite a bit shy of that 116. So what they'd like to do is bring over 22 of the lots that could have been used in Longhorn and use them within the Meibos property. Okay, so the Meibos property, it's roughly I wanna say 62 acres or so. And which would allow them 64.2 acres, okay. And so in essence, that would, the Meibos property, if they were to develop Meibos gross acreage, it would amount to, oh my gosh, I'm blanking here.
1.26.
Okay. Yeah, so Meibos property, 64.26 acres, which would allow them 186 lots. And so what they're looking to do is actually develop the Meibos property with 208 lots.
So did I read that right? You want to do it like a TDR?
Yeah, in a matter of speaking, yeah.
So how's that work for us? In the general plan?
It won't be a TDR because we're just combining both pieces of ground with one development agreement. That's what we're here for, is to just do one development agreement on the total acreage. Because I own both properties, so I'm just making one subdivision. This actually came up with the park department, because they said, hey, Pat, you're splitting this park onto two developments. We want it to be one. They're like, oh, that's great. Let's make it one.
Yeah.
So, because I own both pieces of ground, so we're making it just one development. So we already in the development agreement on Longhorn, it has the amount of lots we're not asking for any more lots than what is in the Longhorn development agreement and what's already in the Meibos development agreement. So we're not asking to increase, we're just asking to combine it. So I'm able to use the lots from Longhorn and put it onto Meibos as well. And we're taking some of the park and we actually put a little more of the park onto the Longhorn subdivision. And so that's how we're changing some of it, because with the way the park came straight down, we needed to put some more parking and a couple other things. We put a retention pond that could be added into the park. It was actually Charlie's good idea. Charlie had a little bit of how to design the park and, put the stuff together. So that's kind of why we're adding those pieces.
So you're just taking the potential of what the zoning could have been on Longhorn. That didn't get put into the agreement or the original rezone.
It was in the development agreement.
So the
The
potential of the
amount of
development
lots
agreement.
is in that development agreement. It says I'm allowed this many lots.
I
Okay,
just didn't utilize that.
you're just not using them.
Correct.
You want to use them over on the other one.
Correct.
Yeah,
So we're just combining both projects into one.
And one development agreement, right?
That's
So
all we're.
there'll be
doing.
one super development agreement, not two separate development
And again,
agreements.
that's what the parks wanted me to do, and it made sense when he said, he goes, well, Pat, what if this project fails and this one doesn't? And what, how do we do that? I was like, oh, I mean, it's not gonna fail, so I don't think that way, but
So will it proceed through like subdivision, everything together as a whole now,
Well,
like it'll be,
Longhorn's done, so it'll just be the next phases.
it'll be
So it'll all be
treated as
Longhorn,
phases
and so
now.
it'll be, we already have it done as phase, we have 3 in Longhorn, so it'll be 4, 5, 6,
Okay.
7, 8. So it'll all just be done in
So
phases.
just one project, one development agreement
Correct.
and phases instead of two separate projects. Okay.
and
So it's not a TDR then.
Correct, no, we're not transforming.
That was the problem I was having.
And that would be hard because you don't have a TDR bank, you don't have any of the stuff to do that, and I've not
Right.
got to go to that part. That's not. Rick told me I couldn't do it.
So what does the fire department think about your access? We have the two.
Mhm.
Is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, they don't have any issues at this point in the state, this stage of the review. They haven't got it really into the design. As far as, but once they get to the subdivision step, they'll have some comments for that.
I
And
guess
I did
that's-
have to sit
So-
down with him,
And so he knows how many lots you're putting in that?
it was just fine. But
But-
again.
But this is just for the rezone and it'll get reviewed
Correct.
at subdivision level.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there could be some adjustments then.
To just, and then it might kind of change when we're connecting them together. What, the street widths are, what engineering requires for, especially going to Pacaro and stuff like that.
Right, Felix?
What he
Yes.
did require, sorry,
No, you're okay, go.
was on, Longhorn, so now it's called Longhorn and Meibos, so eventually I'll be Longhorn. The Longhorn, I have to take a road out, 26 feet wide, 70,000 pound availability, even to develop Longhorn. So I have to put that road in already, I mean, I'm going to anyway. And so that is my,
Okay,
What's your secondary?
yes, secondary ingress
So,
egress for fire.
is that request?
And that was what I asked to say, okay, I'm buying all of this ground now, are you okay? Will you allow me to develop a piece of, yeah, absolutely, this is developing the way it is, so that's where that's how I know.
Oh, okay, so this was the road you were building anyways, right here?
Yeah, so in order, because I'm.
In order to get this, you
I could
had to
only
do this. 30.
15 more lots, he would only allow me to do 15 more because.
Oh, they're existing, okay.
And so he said, Pat, before you can do more than just this, you
Yeah,
have to
complete
put a
that.
road in here.
And then he let you develop this, and that's
Was
what I
that the
was
fire
about.
chief?
That's the
Okay.
fire chief, yeah.
Okay,
And I remember it was the day he bought a brand new truck, because that's all he talked about was how happy he was about the truck. So, So, yeah.
Dictated thought.
Oh,
Okay. Well, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Understanding. And
Who was that? Remember his name?
Was it Reed? Or was it
so now,
Reed? Or
is there anything else you wanted to bring us up on that?
Yeah, I mean, just quickly, I don't wanna take too much time in the pre-meeting, but I'll touch on a few other things. I'll touch on pathway alignment. Because we did have a discussion, with the Warren Irrigation representative. And with Jeff Hales, and we also had a some discussion with county commissioners that were looking at. The road conditions in the surrounding area. And so that's something that we would include with our recommendation, so. If when it comes down to actually time to making a recommendation, I would just refer you to the staff report that's in the packet. With the exception of the density. The density, I have some language in my final slide that addresses the density question.
And you have an agreement with the park district, or you don't have a formal agreement with the park?
So we're actually doing a complete development agreement, so it actually will tie in how much, so we got an appraised value on the ground, how much we're donating up to 7,500 per lot, how much we're doing towards the ground, and then how much equipment they want, and so we're in the development agreement, actually like have a skew of, hey, this is the playground equipment you're gonna put in, this is the dollar value of it. So they want an extensive agreement, and I know I have to have that before I can go through preliminary, so we're trying to get all of that done right now. We're about 90% done, don't you think?
Yeah, we've met with Joe Giordano several times. They said it's getting drafted and they'll get it to us soon. He's just said he's getting it drafted up for us.
Commissioners, any other questions on that?
Just really quick, so it says, right, here's what you're referring to, the proposed street and pathway layout illustrating the content plan is sufficient to meet the connectivity standards of the county code. But
Mhm.
what about the surrounding area?
So in my final slide.
You'll have additional recommendations on, so they might be required to approve the surrounding
Mhm.
streets they're connecting to, just, I don't know the condition of this,
Yeah. it'd be
not
60
12th Street, but the other one.
Yeah, 6,700.
Yeah, and whether that needs to be improved.
Yeah, so I'll touch on that too in the presentation
Okay,
to show what type of improvements
Okay,
would be needed there.
sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. And then I guess the rest of that, of the meeting agenda is fairly easy.
Yeah.
So now, very good job. Work session items, yes, it looks like. It says what? We just have,
You guys. Gotta do it again.
The applicants are just gonna give us a rundown on.
Yeah,
On what.
The applicants
potential
will
applicants,
be
okay.
presenting for the first one with Heritage.
Mhm.
They're wanting to change some of the layouts, in the buildings. They want to have the buildings more garage facing. Staff has some concerns with that, but, you know, get your take on it. And the next one is, zoning setbacks. The development agreement in this one, the setbacks were more restrictive. And if you go with the regular zone, they're less restrictive. And, well, actually, no, the regular zone is gives like a 30-foot setback, where the existing one is much less, with the DA is less, but if we went with that, we need to amend the development agreement so that it can go with just the regular zone that it's in. And then the next one
Hey,
is,
Rick, I'm sorry
Yeah.
on that one before you go to it. So on Thursday, we talked about only a few houses being in there. It's probably more than half developed, at least halfway developed, but there's a lot more than just two houses in that developed on Single Tree, so.
Please remind me, which one is that?
Single Tree right by the bleachers of the high school.
Oh, yeah, that's right on the west side.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I drove in there
okay.
and like whatever product is in there, me seems like it's sufficient, it's meeting needs, but
Okay.
we'll hear his conversation, I guess, about it, but yeah.
thanks. And then the next one is just auto repair, and this would be allowing it, everywhere. So you guys decide what you want to do with that as an accessory use. And then the last item is just the.
Can you say commercial space? Go ahead.
Yeah, staff has some concerns with that, but, you know, the applicant wanted to come before you, so that's,
Sorry for interrupting.
no, you're totally fine. And then the last one is just with the general plan. Now that we're taking on the Ogden Valley, finding everything together, just to combine things together, take the language out of the existing plan that deals with Powder Mountain and Snow Basin and the other areas. Just include that, so it's all encompassing, not really changing the language with this, but just combining it all together. I'm gonna be approaching the county commissioners about the timeline of where we're gonna be with, because they did talk about starting the corridor studies and amending the general plan on 2550, 12th Street and those areas, and see, you know, kind of get their feel. But I'll have some feedback to you for the first meeting, probably in February. So, but right now, I just don't know where they're at on that. I know they are working with UDOT to try to tie down a little bit better the West Weaver corridor, because we'd really like to get something more firm from UDOT on that. Commissioner Furl would like to get that taken care of before he leaves office, so he leaves office next November. So I guess the start of next year. So anyway, just FYI on that. I wish I had a little bit more of an update on that, but that's kind of what I do know right now. Questions?
We discussed this a little bit in a chair meeting, but on the general plan, and I don't know if it can happen at the same time that we update the Ogden Valley general plan, but there's a few things that need to be addressed and maybe more current in the general plan in our existing Western New general plan. So think we have any shot at getting some of that done?
That's where I just need to visit with commissioners and get their feel if they're willing to look at some small modifications with that, or if they want to combine that with the corridor study and everything that's done there. I would prefer to, if it's something minor, just to put it in with this and get it taken care of, but I'm just not sure where they will be on that. If and I know that right now is probably a good time to start doing that. Just before things start, we're probably gonna be opening the door a little bit more with different rezones and plan amendments. But I'd like to get the commissioners, the county commissioners' take on that, because they've kind of said time out on a lot of this stuff until the corridor plans are updated. And so they haven't done a moratorium or anything like that, but they just said, you know, we're probably not gonna be giving a favorable recommendation and all that stuff. So. So I'd like to see where they're at on that. I know that Nelson Homes, they came in and visited with us today, and they kind of wanted to know where the commissioners were on that, because they've kind of been holding off on some things, and so I said, I'll check with commissioners and see. So I'll give you a report on that in February, let you guys know what's going on.
One quick question that I just barely noticed, I don't know why I didn't before, but the minutes for approval are Ogden Valley's minutes. Is that were something we are approving,
Yep.
is their minutes? Okay.
Yeah, so you guys, even, it's kind of weird that you're the ones approving it, you're not there, but you're the only ones that.
And
Okay.
So
I figured that's probably what it was.
you are the Weber County Planning Commission.
All right.
So
And we haven't received any complaints on how, has anyone seen them from me? I'm just like, it's hard to make an educated
There-
vote on.
there's no one to ask.
Mhm.
So it's not like we can go and ask the old planning commissioners, because they're not part of the Weber County
Mhm.
appointments anymore.
Okay.
So
So that way we can't find.
That's the
anything.
last one.
that's, no, there might be one other one
Yeah,
coming.
that was October, so it's probably.
Yeah, it was in November.
are they even gonna have a planning commission in Ogden Valley since they hate?
So just so you're aware,
Say that.
they do have a planning commission, but they have put in a moratorium, 6 months. It had kind of been alluded, at least some of the conversation I heard is that they were not going to do that, but it's, yeah. So just FYI.
Let's see.
You know, the planning commission,
Yeah.
moratorium.
Might need a little time to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, it's, anyway, we have entered into a few interlocal agreements with them. They're contracting with certain services,
Planning.
and, well, not planning, but they are doing business licensing. And they are, that's a funny joke. And then they are, we're actually planning is finishing up all the existing approved projects that they have in place. But, you know, one thing, and I gotta give a shout out to my staff, the last 2 months, the planning staff has got some, you know, recognition from the county commissioners on just things that we've done to help things move along. And our staff has saved the Ogden Valley so much in added fees that they would have to have taken on. But because we were able to finish projects for them, they're not having to pass that on to their taxpayers. So, and it's all because of these guys and willing to step up to the plate and really putting in a lot of time after work and things like that. So there was a lot of overtime that happened the last little bit, so.
And a lot going on there to get finished up. So how much more staff time do you anticipate? How far into next year do you think it would go to finish them up?
It shouldn't be very long. I would think it'd be about 2 to 3 months. And then we'll be kind of focusing on that.
And then if they decide they want development up there, is Weber County gonna take on their planning?
No. Nope. Not at all. Building services, they have contracted with us on that. They have contracted with county on roads. Those are probably the main things. Oh, emergency services. So with sheriff, and that,
Looks like engineering.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Supposed to move over there. Are we coming back here?
It's up to you guys.
Easier, more comfortable. All right.
Okay.
How are you?
Wearing it, over a lot of comments about it. I like it. How are you? Good, how are you doing, sir? Oh, boy. You doing? Good to see you. I don't. Good. Yeah, I'll begin.
Go in there and lift our chairs up.
Yeah.
Hey,
There it is.
the session happened out there. I'm trying to get my internet going. Yeah, they're,
Back here. I didn't know it was-
oh, at the work session.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You set me down fine.
Oh, wait, hold on, you got stuff there. Oh, really? Who's your tax? Okay. Yeah. Right seat.
Put you there.
Thank you.
One minute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marta, are we all queued up? Thank you. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Western, oh, actually, sorry, I gotta drop Western to the Weber County Planning Commission meeting for January 6th, 2026. Turn the page on a new year. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All the planning commissioners are in attendance tonight. Thanks, commissioners, and happy new year. Here we go again. First item on our agenda. I guess before we can do anything, we need to find out who wants to be or who's going to be in charge. So item number one is election of chair and vice chair. And I'll open up either for nominations or for discussion or however you guys want to do.
Let's just go like we did last.
Okay. Go ahead and state what's on your mind, Commissioner. Okay.
I'll make a nomination. I nominate Andrew Favero as chair and Casey Neville as vice chair.
Okay, I have a motion. I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We need to do roll call on this. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Opposed? Here we go again. Okay, thank you, commissioners. Appreciate your confidence. I'm not sure where it comes from. Minutes from October 28th. Let's see, and we indicated those were from the Ogden Valley, correct? And so with that, is there any questions or concerns on those minutes?
I didn't have any concerns about it for myself, so I'll motion to approve.
Okay, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Motion carried for the approval of minutes for the Ogden Valley from October 28th. Item number 3, legislative item 3.1, ZMA 2024-08, the discussion and recommendation on a request to amend the Meibos development agreement that was presented to the Planning Commission on September 17th, 2024. The amendment would enable the developer to transfer 22 development rights from the Longhorn Estates Subdivision to the Meibos rezone property. Director Grover.
Thank you, Chair. As you review this as a legislative item, you'll be making a recommendation to the county commission. As you do that, you want to look at the general plan, and see how it's complying with that. On this one, staff does not represent the project, so we've asked the developer to present first and explain what he would like to do. And then after that, staff will get up and explain how it is or it is not complying with the general plan and what we would recommend.
Thank you, Director.
Okay. And Mr. Burns will be presenting first, and then Mr. Lleverino will present.
Okay. Unless Mr. Burns doesn't want to.
Well, Felix is trying to help me get that up there. It's Pat Burns, 2702 North Burns Lane, North Ogden. So this is a project, Longhorn. You guys have seen that. We actually have that all through subdivision approval. That one's done with the development agreement. And Meibos, I actually brought it through here and you guys approved the rezone with that several months ago. With this project, we have a 17-acre park in the middle of the project. It's kind of almost right in the middle where half is on one project and half is on the other project. With the park donation fee, we've been working with the Parks Department quite a bit. Find out how they want to do this park and what they want it to look like. And we went through several different iterations of what they didn't want was a pocket park. So they wanted a park that could actually it would have baseball fields, it would have, there we go. It would have, so they put their requirements of what they wanted to see in the park, and then we were able to kind of develop it. And this is still preliminary, but it met what their basic requirements were. And so as we're meeting with them, they were talking about we need to combine both projects so we have one development agreement. It's really simple because I own both projects. So that was one reason we're back, but the other reason is the density approval that we have for Longhorn and Meibos. They'll eventually both be Longhorn, just to clarify the two projects for now. There was 22 units that we weren't using on Longhorn. And we're wanting to combine both projects and you not get an increased density, just use the density allowed for both pieces of ground. And just combine both development agreements. So both have been approved. So we're not trying to add any number of doors to the development agreement, just combine it into one development agreement. So that was the main reason we're here, just to let you know what's going on with the Parks Department, because that's a pretty, this was the Parks Department, this is the biggest park they've ever done as far as they haven't done a park like this. So we've been working together with, we kind of drafted something, their attorney's drafting it now, and our attorney did a rough, and now their attorney's finishing it. But anyway, so the main thing is we're combining both development agreements together. So we're not changing anything. I'm not asking for anything addition. We're not trying to change both development agreements that you guys have already approved. We're just combining both of them, for lack of better words.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
Chair, I do have a question. if That's okay.
Yeah.
Have you received any written approval from the Parks District?
Yes, we had just a written letter, the same boilerplate, for lack of better words, that they had given
Okay.
before, that as long as you meet the requirements and we would take the, I don't want to misquote it, but yes,
Okay.
we had an original, because this, you guys have already approved this preliminary, this rezone, and I had the letter at that time. It was just their
Nothing with-
boilerplate.
Anything with the revisions that I just.
The Parks Department wanted us to actually do a true development agreement, so it would hold me to what we're actually, because as you know, in a rezone, I'm not held to, this is just.
Right.
So they want more of, hey, what's this going to look like? Because I already have preliminary approval on Longhorn. And so there wasn't a good definition in the development agreement, because it says, I'll work with the Parks Department. So working with the Parks Department, they just said, hey, we want more concrete on what you're going to do. And so that's where it kind of stemmed as, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know. What do you want me to do? What should we do? So that's where, hey, I said, let's do a development agreement, just like we do with the county, so that you know what I'm getting. I know what I'm doing, because the worst thing is in a year, you say, I thought you said this, and I thought you said that. I don't want that to happen.
The exhibit that we're seeing right now, is this the one the Park District has given a written approval on?
It's changed a little bit. So where the detention basin is on, if you look at that yellow line on the right-hand side, we moved it to the left-hand side and added some more parking and changed a few other things. But the basic principle of this is, this meets the requirements. They asked me for certain size fields and certain size ball fields, and this meets what they asked me to do.
Okay, and that's in written approval or just verbal right now?
Just verbal, we presented, we did this concept 2 or 3 different times. They said, hey, change this, change that. And this was done before we actually got the rezone on Meibos.
Okay.
So they approved this, and Craig has been working more. He's trying to say something. I don't want to misspeak, because I actually personally wasn't there the last 2 times.
Yeah, Craig Jackson, 3170 North, 700 West in Pleasant View. Rick, so what the Parks District did is they didn't want to do one Parks development agreement for half the park for Longhorn, and then do another development agreement for half the park in the Meibos section. So they said, let's work together, let's combine the two, move the density around a little bit, and work on a Parks development agreement that encompasses everything. I've spoken with Joe Giordano, the chair of the Parks Department, and several times, and he says, Craig, I'm sorry, I really hoped that our attorney would get this letter to you, this development agreement to you before January 6th, but it hasn't happened yet. We're just waiting for the attorney to get it drafted. So it's to that point to where it's waiting for it to be drafted.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Chair.
So to that point, Director, looking at the staff recommendation under 3A, it looks like, there's language that says that there needs to be a mutual, park amenities is mutually agreed upon. So there needs to be, there's got to be the contract that you're talking about, and that's got to be exemplified or hit hard, I should say, in our in our motion that that's gotta be done before this moves on.
Yeah.
Is that proper? Perfect. Okay.
And just to specify that, so I know you spoke about the agreement is based on the idea of 7,500. The equivalent of $7,500 per door. Put into either land or amenities in the park area. That's the idea of what you're working on. And so I wonder if that should be specified so that in where it says mutually agreed upon. But where it says that it needs to be donated prior to the plat being recorded, if it's not actual money in escrow, what are we requiring be done before the plat is recorded? I'm not sure.
That would be the development agreement
With the Parks
with the
District.
Parks District. It'd be assigned, recorded with the plat.
Oh,
Just like the same development agreement we record with you guys.
so,
Because they asked the same question, by the way, how are we gonna hold you to this? And I said, well, development agreement holds all the teeth, so.
Right.
but yeah, donation for existing lots shall occur with the donation of all lots or units paid prior to the first plat being recorded. But some of it's improvements, not. So would it need to be just escrowed for?
And I gotta ask the question to
Yeah.
try and get to your.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I know my
That
question.
is, so if I understood what you said, right, the Parks District is taking, instead of the monetary donation, you're going to give them a turnkey, for lack of a better term, park.
Correct.
Under a separate development agreement with the Park District.
Correct, but how they want it structured, which I suggested, because that's how I would want it structured, is as I record phase one, say it's 30 lots. There's a dollar amount as I go to record that plat for 30 lots, what's that? 750, 30, $210,000. Is that right? Yeah.
Whatever the amount is.
$210,000.
Where you're going, yeah.
When I record that plat, I have to at that point. Like obviously the ground is the first thing. I'm gonna donate all the ground. The park fees are donate, so whatever the legal terms are for donating a lot of money, whatever that's called. In the development agreement, so it'll spell out that I have to stay ahead. And in other words, I'm gonna dedicate all the ground to them at one time anyway, before I even record the first plat, which will give me, I have
At
a
least-
bank of X amount of lots that I've paid for. And so we do that with the other park district too. If they buy land or they've done something, you have a credit with them or something like that. And so that's kind of the way we're structuring it with this. I have to, because when we go to record a plat, we have to pay that fee to record the plat. So the development agreement will spell that out, how I'm paying the fee with the donated land. I have to stay ahead. I can't get behind.
And so the improvements will actually go in before the
Correct.
recorded plat. And
Correct.
that's what I was concerned about. So the last phase, the park will be completed with all of the amenities before the last phase is completed.
Correct, way before, yeah.
And it will, so the first phase may only have dedicated land. The second phase may have some improvements, or maybe it'll still be on the land, just depending on what that dollar amount is. But you will, $7,500 per lot will be paid for before the plat is recorded for those lots.
Correct.
Any other concerns? Okay, well, you're off the hook for a minute.
All right.
We'll let Felix give us a couple of words. Just two, Felix.
Hey, thanks. Good evening, commissioners. And so let me go back to the start of my presentation here, just kind of the introduction. I'm using the word transfer loosely. It's not technically a TDR. It's just kind of understand the picture. But so today, January 6th, discussion to take action on a request to allow amendments to this development agreement that was previously approved in a public hearing with the Planning Commission on September 17th. And we're going to walk through some of the things that would be included with the development agreement. And then my final slide will include some recommendations that could be helpful for you once you're ready to make a motion. And so just kind of just generally where the property sits between 7,500 west and 6,700 west. I did some color coding and some outlining to help kind of picture. So that the red outline is the Meibos land. And that one has not been rezoned yet. It's still kind of in process as you understand. The orange, that one, and the yellow, those have been rezoned. So those have the R115 zoning. The orange is called Longhorn Estates. And that orange piece is 40 acres. And the Meibos piece is 64. And so here is the future land use map that we rely pretty heavily on when looking to see, if someone has a proposal to change the zoning out there in Western Weaver, we want to make sure that it's in line with the general plan, future land use, as well as the transportation plan as far as roads and pathways, things like that. Even open space, we really want to make sure we follow the plan as closely as possible. And so here we have the current zoning conditions. So you can see this dark green is A1, A2, agricultural ground. And then you also have that residential estates. So that includes the Carroll Village there, I believe 15 lots there in the Carroll Village with the built road. And that'd be the main access up into the Longhorn project. And okay. Okay. And here we have the park plan. And as you can see, what the planning has done here is we've just put some red lines. So those red lines up on the north edge of the property, those are the potential alignments for a pathway. This is something that planning has been working on within the past couple of weeks after getting some direction from Charlie and also from the county commissioners on the best way to provide a good pathway alignment that aligns really well with the general plan. And so obviously the most favorable would be to locate that pathway on the levee there on the Warren Irrigation Canal within the Warren Irrigation property. We're still trying to work out some details to see what Warren Irrigation is willing to do, if they're willing to actually convey land to the county for that pathway. That would probably be the best option. If that's not an option, then the county would look at locating that pathway within the Meibos development and the Longhorn development. The way the Longhorn development was designed was to have a 10-foot pathway on the north side of the street, on that furthest north street there. That's probably the easiest way to accomplish a pathway. However, it doesn't provide that pathway seclusion that you would typically find with that is probably more desirable, because you have driveways that would cross over the 10-foot pathway. But in some cases, what we're trying to do is look for the best opportunity with the current conditions and the cooperation that we have from the irrigation canal company. So we went out on site last week, Charlie and I, and we visited with Jeff Hales, who's the representative for the Warren Irrigation. And he was pretty amicable to having a 10-foot pathway on that south side of the levee. And so we were looking at opportunities as far as how that could be accomplished. And a indemnification agreement is something that came up as discussion with the county attorney as well as Charlie. And a lot of times those are used to protect public areas like public parks. If someone was injured, then there is some indemnification that could come into play to protect the public entity that runs that facility. And so we would look for something similar in this circumstance. Again, if that's not an option, we can't get the land outright for the pathway, then we would have to look at other options where we would be able to get pathway right-of-way dedication, own the land, then have the developer build the pathway. That's what we're looking at. And so going on to the streets, the connectivity plan. So as you can see, the surveyor that has been contracted with Pat Burns has prepared a street connectivity plan. And this is designed to show how their plan aligns with the general plan. You can see future streets, future minor collectors in the surrounding area. And you can see the interior roads, how they line up and would provide connectivity through adjacent properties once we get future development in the area. They've also labeled areas like future school and, even existing roads. Some of these existing roads are generally built to, 66 or 60-foot right of way. Some of them would need to be expanded to 80-foot right of way, which is the minor collector. And so 7100 west and 6700 west will ultimately become 80 feet right of ways. And then 900 south would be 132-foot right of way. So whenever we see a development adjacent to these expansion areas, we look for the developer to provide the appropriate street side improvements as well as the appropriate right-of-way dedication. And so the reason I've highlighted these little ovals in yellow and also that little polygon along 6700 is to show some of the things that would apply as far as local street off-site improvements that would be required. And these improvements aren't just coming out of thin air. These improvements would be are recommended by the traffic impact study that was done for this development.
So Felix, let
Yes.
me go back to that slide where you said, so on this subdivision, we'll have an improvement up here on 6700 plus the one that goes into what's known as Figaro now. Is that correct? That'll be those two egresses.
Yes, that's right. Yes, improvements to those intersections and then improvements along 6700.
Okay. And then on the trail, I mean, we see the future, but we don't know because that's the canal. I mean, that's the canal coming down through there all the way on the diagonal and then going west. And so when you go back, if you go back one slide, you've got a portion there marked red that might be an alternative. So maybe you're going to get to the alternative. I'm not sure if that's part of where you're going here or not.
Yeah, I mean, that pretty much, I've already said what I'd like to say about pathways, if that makes sense.
Then this is a good time. So, I got an idea of what the future pathway is on the red line that's on the north. That's the canal. We know that it's coming down on the diagonal and going west down to 7500. And then, we're not seeing that. That part doesn't affect this development. But if for whatever reason, the Warren irrigation doesn't want to, accommodate, then we've got one trail here that's just within this development without any connectivity. So where are we going with that?
Yeah, my thought would be some slight adjustments. So you can see that red line on the north side of the street. That top street within Meibos property. There would be another pathway. I think probably the easiest way would be to have another pathway going on along the diagonal. But let me see if I can just point at it. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, going up on the northeast.
Yeah, because I mean,
property.
ultimately, we're just looking for the most direct route where people can easily transition onto trails and then continue on their way. But they don't have to get lost in the search for trails. So obviously the one on the north, that's also a good option. However, just looking at how it was done over here on within the Longhorn was a 10-foot pathway along that one.
That's true.
So
yeah.
Felix, on those lines, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Maybe I'm not following this. But if we can't get the easement on the canal property, is it possible just to get the easement on the back of those lots and just reduce the depth of the lots and just require it, keep it at that location? Because I agree with you, it's not ideal to have it, the driveways are just way too close to make a pathway viable on the actual street within the development. So my preference would be to not have that as an option and to just require it either on the canal property or within the subdivision, just on that back, along the backside. I just don't like the option that's on the street because of the narrowness of the lots.
Yeah, that's definitely a good option as well. That might actually be the better option.
Sorry, so is that the only connectivity for trails that I'm seeing in here?
Yes, well, you do have some 10-foot pathways within, and then some areas kind of at the midpoint. You see this. Mhm. This detail also shows kind of the pathway convergence, and that actually reflects what's shown. I believe that's here where my pointer is. Yeah.
I'm not seeing your pointer,
Oh,
but
you're not?
it's in the middle of the what's
Yeah,
it
it's
called?
right in the middle.
Meibos right here. This is
Yeah,
presuming that's what.
yeah.
Which that could serve as a really nice gathering place right there.
And I like the trails within the development. I think are good. It's just that, regional connector, I'd like to see pushed to the backyard, so it's not along the front of those properties.
Well, definitely. There's
Anything else on trails? All right, carry on.
okay, thank you. All right, okay, and so my next few slides what I'll do is I'll highlight these areas in yellow. I'll show the chance that I had to speak with Gary Myers, the county engineer, kind of described, some of the things that were included with the traffic impact study and how to implement those for this area. And so we'll go on to that right now. And so this slide, it kind of shows that 80-foot right-of-way cross-section. So this would be the ideal, like once it's fully built out, 80-foot right-of-way. I mean, you've got 3 lanes, you've got a bike lane, some parking, street trees. This is probably a little ways in the future, but still it's good to prepare, make sure we got the right-of-way width at least when we can get it. And so looking at this detail, this first one at the intersection of 6700 West and 900 South. So just looking at the conditions, the way the roads are striped on 900 South, where you've got a deceleration right turn onto 6700, but you also have as eastbound traffic on 900 South, they would also be able to get into that left turn lane in center and then turn in. And so the county would, the development agreement, it mentions how this development will need to conform to the traffic impact study. And so that's what we'll do once it comes down to actually getting civil drawings reviewed for subdivision. We'll have that as a reference in the development agreement to make sure. But anyway, going on to the next intersection, 7100. You can see that there is some things that are lacking on that intersection of 7100 and 900, where you don't have a right-hand turn merge, nor do you have a left-hand turn merge similar to. So we would almost be looking to mirror what we have at the 6700 intersection across down to the 7100 intersection. So that would require some new striping, as well as some striping on 7100 West.
Just the summer.
Yeah.
Yes. This fall. So there's not a deceleration lane for a right-hand turn going north to turn if you're headed west and you want to turn north on 7100. Wow.
And then
But there's one coming on the eastbound side.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
That's where the current park is, right?
Well, yeah, it's the park's on the southeast corner.
Yeah.
So what the county would be looking at, we'd be taking recommendations from the county engineer, from the traffic impact study, as far as how the widening would look like on 6700. That way we have the ability to, widen for the traffic flow, because you've got to consider not only do you have residents going to and fro, we also have visitors to the park. And so looking at being able to provide enough roadway. So 7100 West is plain wide, plenty of asphalt there. That doesn't seem to be a concern, but 6700 does need some work, and the developer is aware of that. And so that'd be part of the recommendation, would be improvements on 6700 that would extend to the entrance of the development. And exactly what those improvements would look like, it's hard to say right now, but we would most likely be looking at additional asphalt and some striping, at least closer to where the intersection is. It's two streets. And then here's going on to the recommendation. And so again, this could be helpful if we are ready to make a recommendation to look at what I have, and also add to your recommendation regarding pathway or any other things you'd like to add. So yeah, conditions 1 through 5, and that pretty much concludes. Yeah.
Commissioners, any questions for Felix?
I got a comment here. We got a couple of courts over here. And, I'm a little bit leery about people trying to walk across 900 South. That's a little tender spot, because my dad's sister got run over down there at the turn of the century. But we try to have places that's walkable. I know it's a little bit of a walk to get over from the park on the north side of 900, but if we want people to use their legs instead of cars, and I don't know how you do that there, but to me, looks like it's an issue waiting to happen. And so I don't know, I really can think of ways of doing it, but every way is a lot of money. Go over the road, stop lights, et cetera. So I guess I'm a little tender about that, because in my mind, I'd like to see this whole complex over there be walkable. We have trails, we have things that we want over there, and yet we got amenities across them. It's gonna be a busier road even yet. So that's my comment. I'm not sure. I don't have a solution, but it's a concern.
My suggestion would maybe we include crosswalks as part of the improvements. And they can be as simple. I know in like downtown Salt Lake, they have crosswalks where they just have flags on either side.
Right.
Or they can do the flashing light one if you want to do it mid-block instead of trying to do it where everyone's trying to turn left and right where it's not lit. But we could look for engineering recommendations on where a crosswalk in the area would be the best.
Yeah, I think the lights maybe have. What's that?
Just a crosswalk and just painted and identified so people know to look for pedestrians in that area. It's a straight road there, so there should be decent visibility.
Maybe it needs to be lit. I don't know if there's light there or not for visualization.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I think the thing about the flashing light that people can get, I think works pretty good on Washington Boulevard here for the Reed. So I don't know, just a comment on that. I'd like to see something to maybe stave off an accident. There's some way to do it reasonably.
Thank you, Commissioner. I think that was a good comment.
Felix, I have a question for you.
Sure.
On the slide that you have up here, it says that the Meibos development would be 208 units, 95 on the previous Longhorn, but on on 0.2A, it says that the Meibos property shall be limited to 188 dwelling units. I just want to make sure we're clear on that because that's a significant difference for the developer.
Okay, yes. So that's a good point. I would probably just remove that condition. And
So I guess what I'm asking for is
Yes.
what is the slide you have up here, the current number that they're asking for?
yes,
So 208 and to 95 existing.
yes.
And remind me from our pre-meeting what the total number they could have had on Longhorn alone before they didn't utilize it, but what was the number they could
It
have?
was 116.
116.
Commissioners, anything else?
Yeah, one quick question. Felix, what would be the number that they could have if they were not merging these together in Meibos alone?
So in Meibos alone, it would be
How many acres was it?
Sorry. Should have.
186. Yeah,
186.
186.
What they could have, okay. And again, I just want to clarify, just maybe for the record, that all we're doing is adding density that wasn't utilized to this piece.
Yes.
You know, one giant piece.
That's right.
Under one master development.
Right, okay.
Anything else, commissioners?
I should rephrase that, not what we're doing, what is being proposed.
Yes.
That's what we're working on.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well. Any further discussion with staff or with the applicant?
One more question for Felix. And so these recommendations don't have number 6, which is Weber County's outdoor lighting code.
Mhm.
I assume we'd want to still include that,
You could, I mean, it's pretty standard part of the development agreement.
right? So it can be said or not said, but it's going to get included when you guys do it. Okay.
All right, commissioners, if you don't have anything else, I'll ask for a motion when you're ready.
We need to have a public hearing.
Oh. Okay, well, it is a legislative item. I just didn't see public hearing. You gotta write everything down, sorry.
Sorry, Felix wasn't noticed for the public hearing.
It wasn't, we already had a public hearing.
Did we already? Okay, and that's been taken care of.
Yes.
Okay, I apologize.
Oh, no,
I just wanted to make sure we were covered. I didn't
we
want
want to do it
that
right.
said.
Yeah, sure. No problem. No problem. Sometimes I miss them.
And obviously I'm missing something here too.
No, we're good. Thank you, Director.
The applicant was waving his hand around. I thought maybe he had something else to say.
Oh, okay. Sure.
This is personality.
Yeah.
Casey's right, I do that sometimes, just,
Well,
Commissioner Andretti, I just wanted to bring up that you actually did bring that up when I did Longhorn. Everything you asked for is in the development agreement already. I just wanted to bring that up, but we have to work with engineering, so it was a flashing light, crosswalk, whatever safety wise, so I've been working with Gary on what to do, because I've already done. It wasn't very good English. I've already put in the sidewalk. There's a 10-foot sidewalk that had to go all the way down to Vaquero. We put that in, and then you would ask for a possible light, street light, and then, excuse me, the push button like what's on Washington Boulevard. That is in the development agreement. I agree to do whatever engineering wanted us to do on that. So I just wanted to clarify that has been addressed and in development. It's done. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, commissioners? All right, and seeing that yeah, I'll ask for a motion.
okay. I motion that we forward a positive recommendation of item 3.1 ZMA 2024-08. Discussion on recommendation, a request to amend the Meibos development agreement that was presented to Planning Commission on September 17th, 2024. The amendment would enable the developer to combine the Meibos development with the Longhorn Estates subdivision and their the extra development rights from Longhorn. I make this motion with the following recommendations that are found in our staff report, including concept plan update, density not to exceed 208 dwelling units on the Meibos property. Item 3 from the staff packet as well, the parks, open space and trails, with the specification that as the Parks District is working with the developer, the equivalent of $7,500 per lot, either in land or amenities, is donated or completed before the plats for those lots are recorded. And item number 4, the streets, with the addition that all improvements that are required required by engineering and the traffic study, including improvements to the intersection of 6700 West and 900 South and 7100 West and 900 South, and any improvements on 600 West and a crosswalk, that all of those are to be considered and completed based on engineering requirements. And then the rest of the recommendations from our staff packet as well. This is based on the findings that the recommendations are applied through development agreement. The proposal supports and is anticipated by the vision, goals, and objectives of the Western Region General Plan. And it's beneficial to the overall health and safety and welfare of the community. And that a development agreement is the most reliable way for both the county and the applicant to realize mutual benefit.
Suggestion,
Please do.
just that you include there, sorry. Just that we include the 95 lots that is in the current Longhorn development, that would be the maximum.
Yes. So the density on number 2, density 208 dwelling units in Meibos, and the 95 that are in the existing Longhorn,
Not to exceed.
Right.
not to exceed those.
Okay, so, and just so that it's in the minutes and in the recording. So your motion consisted of everything that's in the staff recommendations, plus the items that you highlighted and
Exactly.
suggested, verbalized. Okay, very good. Okay, I have a motion. I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Have a motion in a second. Commissioner McCormick,
Aye.
Commissioner Clontz,
Aye.
Commissioner Lindsay,
Aye.
Commissioner Andriotti,
Aye.
Commissioner Wicker,
Aye.
Commissioner, what's your name? Neville?
Aye.
The chair votes aye as well. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next item on our agenda. Wow, we go from high gear to low gear really fast. Approval of the 2026 calendar. So has everybody had a chance to look at the calendar?
The calendar wasn't in this packet, but it was in the last packet, correct?
I got it. I thought we approved it last time.
Did we approve it last time? Okay, so is everybody still good with the 2026 calendar?
Yeah.
Noting that we've moved our normal meeting to the first Tuesday of every month. And then on the months where we have 2 meetings, it'll be the first and second Tuesday of every month. That's the difference from what we've had in the past to the new calendar. Okay. So we need to motion this.
Yeah, you need a second vote, I think, by the county. That's a conflict there, other committees. That's what I figured, but.
Yes. And Liam. Okay, so I'll ask for a motion for approval of the 2026 calendar.
I'll
I'll ask for a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is public comment on items not on tonight's agenda. Okay. No partakers. Okay. Item number 6, remarks from the planning commissioners.
But just a note, it appears that they're getting ready, I guess it's the transfer station. Over by the lake there, they've leveled that all off. Put gravel there, have a whole bunch of equipment sitting there. And it looks like they have markings along 12th Street. Which is 700 for the day. I guess they're gonna make an attempt to get that done. So just thought I'd pass that along.
Yeah, and just to pass along something with that, if you're driving west on 12th Street to the river or just beyond the river, be careful. Because they've really put the cones out quite a ways in the road, so made it a little bit more challenging than it was before. Anyone else? Okay. Director Grover?
We're thinking of doing the planning commission appreciation dinner on February 12th. Just looking hypothetically, the quick glance, does that work for you guys? You can get back with us too on it. We're including you in the Board of Adjustments and then everyone internally.
Great. Okay. No.
I probably would too. So would Lane, because it's the hunting expo. That's the day that you go.
I won't be at the hunting expo, but I will be here.
Well, what if we moved it to the 26th?
What expo you got then, Casey?
Well, Liam would already have taken me out for Valentine's Day.
We should be able to double up on.
26 might be better. I know we got some negatives from the Board of Adjustment on that, but I'm thinking we'll probably go with the 26th. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Put it in my calendar. No changes.
anything else, Director? Okay. And remarks from legal staff.
No,
Not even a rebuttal on my Valentine's.
He didn't even take you up on it. Apparently, that's a set date. Okay. I guess with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, got a motion to second. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.
Part of the new gig working out okay?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Just time, that's all it requires, huh?
Yeah, it's trying to, one of everything.
How do you do with summer ball?
He didn't play because of his elbow,
Oh, that's what you said.
but he's getting ready to. So, we'll see, hopefully it all goes well.
Remind me where he's at again.
Grand Junction, Colorado Racing.
Sweet. I know a couple.
You do?
Yeah, from conferences that, I know one that got fired from there too.
Yeah, tell me names and I'll have to ask
There you
for
go.
his head.
Well, they're all radiology, so unless he's in that program, he probably doesn't know. Yeah.
Radiology.
Planning Commission, Water District, it's gonna be a great month, right?
I know, what I signed myself up for. No, I'm just kidding, it'll be fine. See what I learned. Great, Jackson, I'm sure he's. Right, who was there?
Who was here?
Yes. See who is there?
Or who?
I thought it was Jackson. I was gonna break that. Pat.
Oh,
Jackson is an attorney?
no,
That's
I
not-
don't think so. No, that's not him.
You know what he looks like?
I've seen him once. And I didn't think that's what he looked like.
I'm gonna send it to Jared. Cause I didn't have to about this, very, very, alright. So I'm sure that. Jared must have got something on.
I've only interacted with him from the water district once, but it was a long time ago. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him, but it could have been.
I have the Italian son. All I taste is onions.
So you go to water board meeting?
And you sat right by him.
Yeah.
Onion.
Is Cortland not gonna take any of those over?
Yeah.
Every time I try and get.
I know.
I'm just getting the wrong to the jail.
Now, Weston Weaver needs to incorporate, huh?
Yeah.
Sooner than later, probably.
Like, oh man.
What,
I don't know. I just think it smells fine. I don't know what they're talking about.
Friends.
these are awesome kids.
They last way too long.
None of them are. Just
Don't tell him I
about
said
it.
that. I should tell him I said that.
No, it's fine, yeah.
Maybe he'll shorten them.
So,
You might make them.
No, yeah, he did.
So I think big fan, here, tell me how it is.
Yep.
So, Charlie, that's Diane. Each of the.
Okay, sounds good. Have a good night.
This year, last year?
Or just. On.
Ryan Rogers,
Ryan Rogers?
Yeah.
Not Ryan Rogers.
Jolly Rogers, Ryan Rogers, same person.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking of a different. In North Arden area.
Probably does.
Felix.
Hey. Nice jacket.
Thank you. What gave it to you for Christmas?
So it's new,
It's new. First day I wore it.
right?
Oh, really? Okay.
Where did she find your pants?
Anyway, he's got.
I think Nordstrom Rack, kind of our stuff comes from, because it's, so.
That's where most of my stuff comes from, especially for, yeah, like my husband and my son, they have the best men's section.
Yeah.
And my son realized that for his girlfriend, it's a great place to find jewelry. Good jewelry.
He's very nice to his girlfriend, I hear.
What?
I guess he's very nice to his girlfriend, Oh,
Well,
bang.
it's not, it's like,
buying her jewelry. all the
well,
time.
it's not, it's like bracelets and things that are like nice, but it's not like $20, $40 things.
Oh, okay.
Like $200.
I'm making that. Any plans to get her a ring yet?
Not that kind of jewelry. He actually put his mission papers in.
Oh, all
everything's
right.
finalized.
That'll have to
Yeah,
wait. I'll have to
Yeah,
wait.
so this isn't. Things now, but
He's dating somebody else's wife.
yeah, giving
Yeah.
her jewelry.
Where is he going?
He doesn't know, and so we're waiting for his call.
Waiting.
Yeah, no, we're waiting.
The
He did some
longest
standard
wait of
immersion
your life.
program, so a lot of his friends have been going to Taiwan and Singapore. Really would rather not go to those places, but
He can say no.
Oh, really?
that's what I told him. I
Yeah.
said, you just say no.
Yeah.
You won't get another offer.
I don't know, they're getting pretty desperate, he might.
It's a take it
Now
or
you
leave
could
it.
go for a year if you want to get, just do whatever you want.
So
That situation, it's take it or leave it. They won't- You won't get another calling at all. That's it.
I'm pretty sure it's just take it or leave it. Yeah. Well, what they do now though, is you fill out a lot of essays, like when I went, you just told them if
You
you,
want to mention?
yeah,
Where'd you go?
Belgium and France.
Oh, heck, how did
And so they just told you if you had any foreign language experience, if you wanted to sort of like very few questions, but now it's like essays that you write. So they get kind of an idea, more of an idea. So in his, he did kind of make it apparent that he'd rather not I don't know.
Uh-huh.
You can, but they get to know you more, so a lot of people are getting where they want to go, but
Is everybody back?
who knows?
No, it's not yours. Okay. Well, I had a request, do you mind if we change the order on the work session item? Not a problem. Okay, so. We got, Salvoy said that his is gonna be a little bit longer, so this is the first item, the heritage land. And, single tree, we got single tree here. Okay, then I'm presuming that you're running Queenie?
Yes, Hanny.
Annie?
Yeah.
Hey, well, we'll start with you so that you can go home.
Okay.
Okay, so what we've got, work session item WS3, discussion regarding the proposed development agreement to allow an automobile repair business to be located in an accessory building on a lot with an existing residence in a residential neighborhood at 4088 West, 2200 South. Go ahead, and come on over and tell us what you got going on.
All right. Right here, I guess.
Sure.
Wherever you want.
Okay. I'm basically just looking to, amend or adjust the zoning for my current property there. To be able to move I currently run an automotive repair shop here in Ogden. But, a lot of my neighbors have basically expressed interest on me moving my shop to my barn back behind my house. So just looking into the feasibility of it, talked to Charlie about it a month and a half ago, and he really didn't see any reason not to. Just have to go through you guys and basically get the okay on it, as far as what I understood.
Now, Rick, you mentioned that if this was to become something, that it would change code for the whole area, or what?
Well, we could do it with specifically for a development agreement for this specific property, so it didn't happen in other areas. We've never done that before in the residential zone.
That's what Charlie was saying, to go that, just amend like that one, like one specific property.
Yeah, and that's something that could be done, but, like I said, historically, it's not something that we've done before in a residential zone. For, a specific property. That usually would have been something that we have just as the ordinance allow for it throughout the area. If it was a use that you felt was compatible with the other areas. It's typically what we ran into when we're dealing with auto repair is more with building code issues, when you're dealing with grease traps and things like that, and how it could affect the possible storm drain system in a residential neighborhood. Those are some things that could come into play when you're looking at automotive repair. And then oftentimes with auto repair, there's storage that happens with that. While you may require that there be no outdoor storage, it sometimes becomes a code enforcement issue. And usually, when we're doing this, it runs with the land. So if another property owner comes in and we allow the use there, and maybe they're not as keeping things as clean as maybe you might be doing. We start to open the door in a residential neighborhood, and so I know I'm saying some negatives about this, but I have to be, honest with you on what we've seen. In Ogden City, there have been some instances where they have had what they call non-conforming uses, where the use existed and then the zone changed and the use continued on. But it does create some issues with some of those things. So I'll just throw that out on the table and then how do we want to go?
Well, I understand the need, the convenience for the community. I tend to agree with what you mentioned, though. And I'll even add one more thing to it. even if it's done just for that property alone, kind of sets a little bit of precedence for other people to come in and ask for other kinds of exceptions. And yeah, it's kind of a tough. It's kind of tough because, like Director Grover said, you may take great care of it and not be a problem with that, but then we get other applications, they become problems, or you decide you want to relocate somewhere else and end up, leaving, and then we get someone else in there that's not as good a neighbor as you were. So anyway, those are my concerns, commissioners.
No question, how big is your shop?
My current shop is just a little two-bay shop. I'm the only mechanic there. I do everything by appointment. I don't have any like major storage outside, like
How big a lot you got there?
currently for what I'm trying to move to.
Yeah.
It's 1.6 acres.
Okay. And how big is that shop?
The barn that's currently there is, I guess, got 3 cars, garage doors,
Yeah,
might be double.
it was in our thing. You have that, can you pull that up so we can,
Of course.
Picture though.
Do we have?
on the GeoGizmo, it's right on 2550 or 2200, right?
Yes.
So my concern would be that we have home occupation allowances, and they're specifically laid out in code as conditional uses.
Fire station.
And this is not one of the conditional uses, and for all the reasons stated, that's why it's not, the storm drain issue is big. Where we're gonna have certain runoff and disposal, and having that in a residential area is. To me, that's really concerning, it's just not conducive to that.
Right.
And so why I can see it being plausible, I think there's a reason it's not allowed.
And I tend to agree with that.
And just so you're aware, in the work session meeting, you can only just get a feel
Right.
of where the commissioners are on this. They can't actually make a vote.
Of course, yeah.
A formal vote, and that would happen in a formal meeting. Right. So you're just kind of getting a feel. of
Okay.
where they're at.
When I've been thinking about it, I'm kind of trying to compare it to the closest thing that we have in that area. And that's the one property that we've reviewed a few times in the work session. It's right on 4700. Where he's got 2 pieces of property, one zoned commercial and the other, it's right next to residential, right? And I know we were really stringent on what we're allowing him to do. And so I'd hate to allow something else pretty close to that area that he's not allowed to do either, because we were really harsh with, as far as, because the neighbors were concerned about it and the location and all that being with residential. So I just want to be careful not to give any privileges to somebody else that somebody else has already been denied, I guess.
It was on 4700 also,
Yeah,
it's even easier.
sure, yeah, that's more business oriented, yeah.
So 2200 and what west are we at?
4088.
So it'll be right past the intersection. It's basically right on the intersection, it's the corner.
Right there. No,
Oh,
you
you went
went
too
too
far.
far.
So there's 47, so let me see.
You need it,
4088.
Oh, 40.
yeah, so go up 2 more intersections, right there,
Oh,
now
okay.
zoom in. Yeah,
So this one right here.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
can you make that bigger?
I sure can.
Closer. That's right in my project.
Whoa, whoa,
It's a Taylor land.
it's so
It is, yeah.
sensitive here.
And it's right by the other one that we were supposed to talk about tonight, too.
Let's see.
It's like riding the
Oh,
roller.
yeah, there we go.
Awesome. That looked like it.
Yep, that's me. So that barn, that white barn in the back corner there, that'd be where I'd be looking to do it.
Something.
So with this white roof would be in here.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's where you're planning on
Yes,
doing it if you're able to, okay?
yes. Then I went, a month ago or so, I went around to all the neighbors. I specifically went around during like what would be business hours. And there were maybe 6 people home. But, the other neighbors I talked to, they had like no disagreements with like any noise or storage issues, which there wouldn't be any, to like keep everything inside the barn.
What are the rules for like a limited operation that's,
So,
like, where does it go from commercial to just a residential hobby that people then will use it?
so typically with home occupations, they're just allowed to occur inside the residential premises. And they can only be a certain percentage of the inside area. It's typically used for office type uses, or there are uses that can be done inside the home that are service oriented. But it has to be in the living space. It can't be in the garage. So it could be like piano lessons or something like that.
Nails.
Accounting.
And you can do automotive work at your house, just your own automotive work.
Correct. It's when it goes over to working on other
It's
people's,
like a business.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's when it kicks it into another gear, and they would need. Like, for instance, you could get a home occupation for office use for this. If you were, that the auto repair would have to be in a commercial area.
Of course.
And so, but that is really good, right? But that's kind of what home occupations are geared towards. And then signage is really limited on what we can do with home occupations, because it's really to maintain the integrity of the neighborhood character of the area. And so that's kind of how home office works. Is it's more in the internal living space. Any outbuildings and things like that, you can't do a home walk inside those areas.
Oh, it is specified in the code that way. I didn't realize that.
So it has to be within the living area.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I want to say thanks for coming in and talking to us
Yeah,
without just doing it.
yeah, I just don't wanna go the other way,
You know, yeah, go ahead, Jim.
So what was Charlie talking about? Were you privy to that?
So, yes, so Charlie was trying to look at avenues to, help the applicant, because we always try to look at possible options for them. And really, the only possible scenario is to do a development agreement that would put special regulations in place specific to this property. Without calling it spot zone. Because if we came in and just zoned it to a C2 zone, that would be spot zone. But this would still be leaving the underlying zone as what it is, and then applying a development agreement to it that could allow this type of use to happen with the development agreement. And so Charlie was looking at a possible solution. I visited with Charlie and I says, did you give the applicant warm fuzzies that it would be approved? He's like, no, I just told him, this is an option that could allow for this to happen. And you'd have to put the planning commission, you probably want to come in a work session to kind of get a feel of where they're at. And then, the public hearing would be next.
of course.
So, so that's what the applicant's doing right now. And so Charlie was looking at more, trying to be somewhat developer friendly, but at the same time not, because
Both sides,
yeah, sure.
Sure.
But you still want to pursue all your avenues.
Yes, yep.
Commissioners, anything else?
Brian, do you have questions for us? Yes, sir. Kind of interrupt you.
I don't know, just. This is kind of what I was looking for, to see what the feasibility of it would be, if any. I'd really like to go this route, but wanna do it completely legal.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, we sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your next avenue would be now to kind of take the feedback and then decide if you want to go for a public hearing. We notice and send out mailers to, to people within the 500 feet of the area.
Yeah.
And then, we'd have a similar meeting like we had in there.
Yeah, yeah,
And then these folks would just give a recommendation and then would go to the county commission.
okay, yeah.
And yeah, that might be, I guess that might be some advice where if you choose to go that route is maybe hit up your neighbors and get them to come in here and support you.
Okay,
Yeah. Cause we do listen to the citizens when they come into the
okay,
meeting,
yeah,
so
that'd be great.
But Casey, that being said, I mean,
that might get them to come and be against you.
well, again, but I mean, I don't know if the neighbors would be able personally to convince me just because of the principle
Yeah,
of it. I think it'd be really, for me, it would be a difficult proposition. Just because of the precedents and because we're dealing with, lots of different properties asking, like I said, we've just denied someone with even a better location for a commercial property, because it was residential and how it affects the properties around it. So just for me, I don't think the neighbors would be able to sway me on it, so.
And I agree. And it almost is, even by virtue of a development agreement, it almost is spot zoning. Because if it goes with the property, there's a spot, you know?
And it was
And so-
difficult to work around as we
Yeah,
developed
true.
around it.
Yeah, so, I mean, and if I'm out of line or not reasonable on that, then
It appears as spot zoning,
Yeah.
but legally it would not be
Right,
spot
right.
zoning, but I
It's
totally
allowed.
get it.
yeah,
It looks
the
like,
perception.
yeah,
Yeah.
looks like a pig. I mean, not saying that, it looks like a dog and it is.
Yeah.
Let's pick some.
There's gotta be a better way to explain
I'm just.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I feel the same way as Commissioner Wickern and Commissioner Andriotti.
I think so.
So we appreciate the fact that you came in to talk to us, though. That doesn't happen very often. It's usually through code violation. And, you know, yeah, that.
Well, he
that-
could be grandfathered in then.
Yeah.
There you go. Coming here.
No, we do appreciate you coming and talking to us, and you presented your case very well.
Yeah.
You did good.
So general feeling of
Sounds
them
like
is probably
they're
a
gonna want a farm.
leaning towards no.
It looks like at least 3, so, yeah. I don't know if anybody else wants to specify that now or not, but.
I would lean towards them as well, just because of what we just went through with the other applicant. He came
Okay.
in multiple times trying to get things like that. Like I said, that's a way better location just because of, it's on a main road.
Of
And
course.
it's already commercial to some extent, so. Yeah.
Probably future commercial, but this is not a future commercial.
I just really hesitate doing a favor for one person, right? I just don't feel like that's fair to the community, so.
I have a question. This kind of applies to me too, but are there any areas or places in the area that are commercial enough that it could go, not just application, but?
We have the mixed use zones that, oh, wait, no,
Uh,
not those ones.
Probably not.
We really don't.
But we do have some in the manufacturing areas, that are being approved by Wade's Dairy in that area that could possibly allow for some.
And we have that piece on 5100 and extended 1600
Yeah.
or 1800, I'm not, you know, whatever that is there, of the old turkey farm, or
Yeah.
part of the old turkey farm, right
Yeah.
next to Pinea.
Yep.
But,
Oh, right, yeah.
yeah, right,
Yeah, that.
but that's a $1.5 million investment.
How come we haven't seen road plat on a while?
Well, I think he had gotten what he wanted to get out of things,
Okay.
so I think.
I saw him a couple weeks ago.
He was a regular.
Yeah. I think
He's doing great last time I saw him.
Yeah, sorry, I have a better perception for you, Brian.
Man, have a good weekend.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming and seeing us, and,
Thank
you know,
you.
don't be a stranger, come to any meeting anytime.
All right.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we determined that Scott's not here. Felix is gonna be here till the end, so I guess, you're up.
Okay.
All right, this is item WS1. Right? No, yeah, discussion regarding potential rezone proposal A1 to FB development agreement. and form-based zone street regulation plan amendment for Willow Village located at approximately 4539 west, 900 south. Thank you.
All right. We're getting a clinic right down the road, so we're gonna have commercial stuff around. 2550 and 3500, it's gonna be on the Longhorn, John. So it's, I mean, we're getting commercial type stuff around there, I still feel like that's just too.
Do you have any
stuff?
It's
You know what I mean?
That's in West Haven, right? Didn't they annex that?
I'm sure.
It's a piece right on the corner.
Yeah,
right?
but still within I feel like it's still within our community, you know, that's what I'm saying, is we're getting stuff like that, that's still not right in the neighborhood, and I feel like it's in the neighborhood. Which one? Yeah, that's different, and that was there before, and it's right next to the high school.
How do you think the guy that does the, never mind. Keep
Go ahead.
you're-
No.
That's recreation, you know?
The reindeer, how do you get his thing to do his reindeer during the winter?
Cause I think that's kinda like the same thing that Brand's in-laws do, it's yeah, because they're.
It's related to Santa Claus, especially.
Yeah.
Special event?
It's allowed.
I guess they don't do it anymore, but there was a month, there was a.
Santa's magic.
You can drive down 2200 because it was so.
Packed.
Right.
Sorry.
Not a problem.
I would have went for it if all his neighbors. Johnny Cash. Wildfire. I like that one.
All right.
That's what I was kinda leaning to, 'cause I knew that the brand new neighborhood wasn't gonna go. His customers would be displeased down.
Okay,
Possible.
go ahead, Sal.
All right, thanks you guys for having me, appreciate your time. Jump into this, this is the Willow Village project that we've proposed. This is the old Cherokee Phase 2. So Cherokee Barn Phase 2, if you look on the way this is laid out, if you're looking at it as a landscape, this is the area to the top there is the east, and that's the Cherokee Barn. So
Where's the barn?
the barn now is the bottom left corner. So where well, it says 100 north, it should be 700 north. Where that kind of comes down, that's Brad Blanch's.
Are these all laid out the same?
Yeah.
West Weaverville, and then.
Excuse me, sorry.
So 900 south, West
Yeah.
Weaverville.
This is 900
Yeah,
south.
900 south. Yeah, so if you take it as a portrait, then you're looking to the north,
So.
and the barn would be on the upper left.
That red barn is right here. Somewhere.
So are these the single family lots right here?
Yeah, those are.
So this is phase one?
Phase 1 is over there. That's the single family lots that have.
And then.
What's the address there?
You got the red barn, Brad Blanch, you know, like 4700 and 900 south, 4700 west, so right by West Weaver Elementary.
4539 is what's on
Right.
By.
the notes of the work
So yeah,
session.
We have to be careful using these words.
Okay, let's see. My Cherokee properties.
Thank you. You said it, not me.
Well, that's
Go ahead.
true.
What was the
That's-
south
that's
one?
Those 6
900.
lots to the far east of that subdivision.
Got it.
So
Right there.
we proposed this design,
You got that?
and we have, if you see on the north side, we have some single family lots and then a bunch of townhomes. And on against 900, we have some more townhomes. In that southwest corner, we had some rear entry mixed commercial townhomes that would have opportunities for business ownership or business operations on the first floor, and then living space in the next 2 above that. So those would be 3-story, and everything else would be 1-story.
We've got parking out here by the road.
Yeah, yeah, we got some parking in there for those potential clients and customers.
I don't see any parking.
Well,
Oh,
and
these four spots?
Well, and then across the street,
And then across the street.
Across the street.
Where, oh, right here.
and then
Oh, okay.
there's a couple of them
I see.
scattered throughout. as well.
And these, so your form base really is starting here it's just really this, or are you considering
I think we were considering all of it.
all of it?
As part of the form base. And so we had this design, and Charlie came back to us and said, he says that road, that public street that's running north and south actually needs to be on the other side because it's going to connect to
Here,
it's going to
go up on the east.
So then, if you go to the next, so as we were having this
Can I
discussion.
interrupt you? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what Felix has up here for us right now, the numbers in red, is that part of this or are
No.
we west of it?
No, that's east of it. This is
Okay. So you're talking,
this is Cherokee Barn Phase 1.
okay.
That
Can you point the barn on there?
barn over here, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's his little retention thing.
And so we're talking about this area right here. And we thought, oh, hey, we've got the road right here. Let's design it with this road in mind. And Charlie said, that's great, but we need this to come over here on this side so that it can connect with the subdivision up here and eventually run down to the south. And so we said, darn it. Okay, well, we'll get a little bit creative. So now if you look at your second page, before you get too,
So it's moved from here
right,
to here.
right.
Okay.
So now we've kind of relocated that,
You've turned everything, okay.
kind of flipped it over, right?
Yeah.
So, but what's your reaction to this? Mine is sell, we're not sardines. So I recognize that what I did here was I wanted to design to the absolute limits of what I thought we could do and fit in this area. We went from 155 units to 219. Okay? And this is what we would like this, but we also recognize that it doesn't leave a lot of green space.
No, this is supposed to follow the form-based code, correct?
Right, and so,
But I don't see that this is following the form-based code restrictions, the requirements.
go ahead.
So typically form base is more focused around design. And in some ways here, we're focusing around the existing streets that we're trying to work with. And the problem we're running into is, and I think this is a much better attempt than this.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
we're still, in my mind, we're still focusing on the garage as opposed to the form of the structure. And maybe if you had elevations.
I thought we had limits in the form-based code on all the architectural elements. I thought with the 40-foot width, you couldn't have the garage on the main street. Like, there's all sorts of regulations
There
that need to be
is.
met. And I'm not seeing that here.
And as I read the code with respect to the garages, that applied to the single-family homes and the small single-family lots, but not townhomes.
It applies to townhomes as well.
Where is that?
Getting past this commissioner, at least this commissioner, that's where it applies. I don't know, it's an awful look.
I think we would need to go back and dial in on that a bit more.
I think that's the intent of the code. I don't know, when I read it, that's how I interpret it, that we don't want rows of garages on public streets.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, I'm just
dangerous.
looking at this at a knee-jerk reaction, so I would need to.
And there are density requirements, I don't, like,
Well,
Sir,
so-
can I clarify?
Yeah.
You're talking about the proposed is to have a garage that's literally right on the road, there's no driveway in front of it? Is that why it's dangerous?
Oh,
This one.
it's just,
There's
there's
like the current.
there's only garages on the whole street. Usually that's what an alley, a private alley would look like, not a public street. Yeah, and yeah, if it's an alley, and then the public street is where you would see the front of the home, so you're not driving through neighborhoods of garage doors, because then people are trying to drive through, and there's just garage after garage.
So you're
That's where we get to the second one,
Okay.
is that we've got, some of those have, they have shared driveways with side entry.
Yeah.
On the,
Which one?
The one, yeah.
on the gray one. We have some side entry units, and then really only 2 garages per building there. On the fourplexes, you'd have 2 units with garages, and then the other 2 on the side. And so we tried to break it up so that we wouldn't have just the row of garage doors. Because when we were putting this together, Charlie had said, well, you've got the public street, and that's great, but you can't really fit these other things in there. But if you consider the, sort of the mid-alley, the private road.
So these are considered your alleys.
Yeah, those would be
here.
considered alleys with the private roads that would be front entry.
But this is the front of your home where
Right.
this is, so
Well, no,
you're
well,
still
no.
looking at the back.
No, that would be on that other side. That would be the back of the home for those units along the private or the public road. Those would still be.
That's the back side, the front side, these face each other
Yeah.
in the middle, and that's considered the front.
No. They would all be. Those would all be the backs of the units.
This would be the back here?
Yep.
Oh.
That's still the back.
Right here, yeah, this is all the back.
So,
No, those are still fronts.
Those are alternating?
It's still
All
fronts, but they're
Oh, okay.
but they would have
Full
only
garage.
only a couple of garages. We tried to break this up.
this was the alleyway,
mhm.
these were the fronts.
That's what I thought. too,
Now,
because I thought-
Does it need it, so is it supposed to
I
be,
guess the front is.
I'm trying to think of the density requirement in here.
So the front is the alleyway.
Do we allow 8 plexes? I didn't think we allowed 8 connected units.
I didn't see where there was restriction on the number.
I don't think it restricts the number on that, I think it goes back to the design. That's where it goes back to the form.
And each unit has to have a different look within the assembly,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Correct.
And then so many assemblies have to be, there has to be so many different assembly
And variation.
variations.
And
is
then
what
they
I'm
have to
talking
have
about.
offsets, so they're not just one
Right,
blanket
solid.
Right.
wall.
Remember, like I said, I designed this to try to be to fit as much as we could,
Yeah.
knowing that
It
you would.
looks like that, just so you know, that's what
I
it
do.
looks like.
Well, look at that, yeah, but look
Mission
at
accomplished.
I know.
What happened in the new year with Sarah?
I've been looking a lot of these.
Watch out.
It's fine. I get it. I don't disagree with you. I did it on purpose.
Okay.
Okay? Shock factor. I can always take stuff out. Yeah, we're having this discussion, right? But it's hard to imagine what it would look like without us putting that in and saying, well, this is what could fit. To be frank, D.R. Horton, one of our good customers, prefers 6 plexes. So chances are we're going to be doing 6 plexes anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't go over 6. That's.
I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm just saying that we put it in there so that we could see what would fit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe just either one of you, but maybe we're. I thought that we were, in this particular area, we were doing kind of a mixed form base. So form base out on 900, and then as we went closer to the canal, we were getting into bigger, a little bit bigger units.
Yeah, and you do have that. So on here, you have single family lots,
Yeah.
single family homes here.
Yeah, but I was thinking there'd be a few more than that.
Oh.
Maybe like from at least here that way.
And Charlie had said, well, yes, we can play with, with that, but we can look at, we can look at doing things through DA and figuring that out.
On that, I would somewhat disagree with Charlie,
Okay.
because I'm not sure how much we want to get into development agreements with the form base. We can, but I think it's better to stay true to a form-based code
Yes.
as opposed to adding development agreements in addition to the form-based code. And the only reason why I'm saying this is we did that a little bit up in the Ogden Valley. And I don't think it got us exactly what we wanted, because we kept on going to DAs on all the form-based codes, and it kind of defeated the purpose of the form-based.
Yeah, but we were, yeah, well, we were looking at this going, well, we're pretty close to, you know, to it, but I appreciate what you're saying. I think the idea of the form-based code is a, you know, good template, a good place to start. If there's going to be, you know, modification, obviously it's not going to be, well, we're doing all townhomes, or we're doing all 1 acre lots, right?
Yeah.
So we wanted to get as close to it as we could.
Yeah.
But we do have a variety of products, right? So we have the single family homes, we have 2-story homes. The majority of them are 2-story.
Can you point at your map? You gotta come down in the middle and show them.
Yeah, which is which? Because they all look like townhomes from here.
Yeah.
Well, the everything on those, the larger lots. So these larger lots on the north are all single family. These are 3-story rear entry with the anticipation that they'd be mixed commercial use. And then these would be front load 2-story townhomes.
The interior always.
Yeah.
What about the exterior on that side?
Well, on this side? This
No.
one, on this side, these would same. Like this side, same front entry town, 2-story.
I'm gonna tell you what's on my mind. You know me well enough to know.
I
what I'm
do.
telling you.
I do know you well.
So what this looks like is form base out here along 900 and as much density as you could put in line.
Well,
I mean, I'm not accusing.
You're not wrong.
I'm just saying that that's what this looks like.
you're not wrong. And this is why it looks like that. The way we looked at it was, you know, we knew that Charlie wanted us to do the commercial along 900, and so we tried to put as much there as we could. We knew that we needed the single family on the north, so we tried to put as much over there as we could. Charlie wanted the public street there on the east side, and so we tried to fit as many. I mean, we tried to fit some townhomes in there, and tried to make it, you know, break it up a little bit so that they look good. And then we looked at the rest and we said, well, what do we do with that? If we put in a public road, we've got certain restrictions on what we can do, but it doesn't leave us a lot of other space. And this was where Charlie had talked about the mid-block alleys, the private roads, and we didn't want to do private roads at all. We wanted to try to do this all public. But Charlie suggested that as a way to sort of deal with what was left. And so we said, well, and it just so happens that it actually fits to put those 2 alleys down the middle, or down that side, in the middle of that, and fit that many units in there. We can back it off to do six plexes. We can put in a park. We can put in some pathway. We can do some other things. But
Is this parcel over here going to be heritage or
No.
heritage now?
that belongs to the neighbor.
Okay, so you can't say that. So we've got. Felix, wanna go to the map? I started that. Felix, can you bring back up on Gizmo yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have this strip. So we've got a fairly, regular, normal looking subdivision to the east. Then we go to super high density there. And then we don't know what we're gonna have there yet.
My understanding is that it's supposed to be a park.
Well,
I know.
okay,
That's
sure. And I I thought that was in the development agreement,
actually.
but that's all void now. That's all
Is it
gone
not?
away. The times ran out on all of that stuff. So there's really, now you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but that's where we're at, right?
The
So
general plan does show that as open space.
there's open space. The general plan.
And in
does.
order to
Okay.
support the form
Right.
base, we're planning on that being open space, because this isn't viable without its own internal park unless we do have the open space next to it, like, I feel like the general plan needs that open space for the form base to work.
Yeah. This feels like to me that the form base should be a little wider. And I know that, you know, you're gonna have a hard time probably buying it, but I'd like to see the form base go all the way to the corner out here by 900, all the way down to 4,700. And that's how I anticipated it when we were talking about it in the general plan. So in the general plan, Jed, it does call out for a park over here.
I thought.
But when this was all together and being developed by the neighbor, okay, this was gonna be a park, and then it seemed like to me, you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like to me we were gonna have form base, and then we were gonna graduate into bigger, you know, single family.
Yeah, everything on the
Is
front
that,
900 was.
am I remembering that right?
Yes.
So now what we're seeing is after all of the grain's been sorted out from the chaff.
Yep.
Heritage had this, the neighbor has this, Heritage has this. And what's unfortunate here is that we don't know what's gonna happen here, and what we're trying to put in here is like in direct conflict with what's here, and for sure in direct conflict with what's potentially over here, in my mind. That's how I see it.
Sarah on that thought too. Unless we have a magic ball and we know what that front really is. How do we get form base in the middle with that other natural housing?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, and we tried, like I said, we tried to put in the, you know, the form-based commercial stuff on as much of, along 900 as we could, so that,
Right.
so that we were, and in fact, this was actually something that did surprise me, was in our discussion with Charlie, was, maybe I shouldn't say it with him not here, but when we had originally proposed, this one, the first one I gave you, Charlie was pretty okay with this, with a smaller area, and
You gotta bring Charlie here to
I know,
defend his.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I gotta be careful about saying
Well,
that.
he might have more to educate us on.
But then we went back to the, you know, to the townhomes all the way along 900, so that's kind of our plan now, is to put those.
So
Well-
these are townhomes, which are entry, 3-story, individually owned.
Yep.
Type those, they're supposed to be like a live here, work here situation. They just end up being live here. I don't love those personally because, yeah, they just, so my concern is with, if that's all commercial.
What didn't you like, Sarah? I wasn't.
Live here, work here just turns into live here. There
Oh.
really isn't a market for the live here, work here units that we've seen.
Yeah.
They've failed.
That's more of a
Everywhere.
Park City.
Well, they're starting to make sense in Farmington, maybe
Yeah.
like 10% are actually being used for commercial now.
It only comes when you have the rooftops,
Yeah.
and then the rooftops will support that, and it takes a long time to get to that.
So I don't see them ever being viable in this location
It's gonna be a
in
long time.
the next 100 years.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Let's put it-
So you're saying people are
In-
using.
For the
them?
lifespan of these homes, I don't see it being viable.
Well, look, if those 14,000 homes go out on 7,500 west, we'll have
But-
the rooftop.
If this is commercial, depends on how they wanna do it, but if this is commercial, I'm worried that that's not enough parking to support the commercial, because I'm trying to think of these spaces that are 1, 2, 3.
Parking's not an only issue, but when you access the rear for delivery and dumpsters and all that stuff, how do you do that in the back area and protect the integrity of these homes in this area without having that turn into a slum area? And so, I mean, that's a little bit of a concern I have with the amount of density that we're pushing in there with this. How deep is this? Do we know?
The units?
Cause I'm trying to compare that to
this lot.
like on 25th Street to some of the, you know, there's some
residential up above those commercial areas.
Those are 42. Oh, the units are 42, but
Okay.
4,200 total square feet. Is that what you're saying?
42 feet.
Oh,
The units, the
And they're
units,
only like, that means they're like 30 feet wide.
20.
So they're like 1,200 square foot units.
That's really.
Yeah, and I don't think that's wide enough. I think there's a limit on the width of the townhomes and
I think I would.
I would really go back to the form-based code and see. So for me, when looking at this, I'd be like, this is gone. And then I'd push these away from each other so that you can have like a big park strip area through here where the front of the houses are. I'm trying to think, that's the alleyway that right here, so this
So
one is
what
wider.
would you put? You said that's gone. Would you?
That's just get rid of that, so that you can actually open it up and create.
Get rid of one whole line at the top.
take
Yeah.
that roll out.
You're thinking about what about anything on the other side of the road?
And
You gotta
then
put something on both sides of the
these
road.
ones, I would consider putting, I don't know, I would just really look at this, I'm like, these are only 40 feet wide, so they need rear access to meet the form-based code standards, because they aren't wide enough to have, unless you're planning one-car garages, these won't work at 42 feet wide. I would really dive into the form-based code. And I know like that is, okay, let's see how many we can fit in there. But I would first look at all the restrictions in the form-based code and then come up with a plan, because I just don't see that this meets the intention of the form-based code, because aesthetically.
And it certainly, not only the code, but not the general plan, my vision of the general plan either.
So
You
yeah,
said
these
one
single-family
base,
lots don't meet form-based code.
If you're looking at density, I'd rather see you go ask for an extra floor than to shove it in horizontally.
Yeah, like do apartments if you're gonna do this much density.
Well,
It's-
something, yeah,
Yeah, it's too
yeah.
much, but I don't. think
Maybe
apartments are
maybe
long.
owned apartments, condominiums, whatever you wanna call them, but only out here only out here along 900 as well,
So,
not the whole thing.
So if we want commercial here, then yeah, the solution is probably first floor commercial and then apartments above. And then for the middle, maybe just look at meeting the single family
Yeah.
lots from the form-based code standards.
It makes it look like a mean dog fight. And this is the big dog and everybody else around it is the small dog. So it doesn't look like I envisioned it when we were doing the general plan and talking about form-based code.
So how much different is this than the vineyard?
Which part of Vineyard?
The part we see?
Was that form-based?
Aesthetically very different.
Yeah, they're different, but the layout and how many homes there was in there, I mean, to me, I was shocked on how pleasing it was.
That was not as dense as this is proposing here. That had a lot more open space and different design
Well,
standards.
the thing is to me, it looked like that, how wide's these roads?
Those are 34.
And then the alleys, how wide are those?
Those are
Those are 34,
Those are the
and
34.
that's wide enough for a private
I
alley.
think you could make an alley work easier.
Here's the.
They're like
This is from
25, 24,
Yeah.
yeah.
the code.
Oh, okay.
You would need a.
So those actually do have 18-foot driveways in addition to that. Yeah, then there's the
I'll
5.
back you up on that. 42 is wide enough, and I think looking towards the future, we gotta look at making smaller lots. We really do, or else you won't get any private homes that kids can afford for under
I
$4.
mean, this is zoned at 1 acre right now. We don't have to go that small.
I wasn't talking about that. Total different thing. I talked about affordability for our youth.
Yes, but there has to be a limit, because a 200 square foot yacht would be really, really affordable, but is that viable? So where's that line? And Charlie and us in our form-based code have drawn that line to make sure we get the balance between affordability and aesthetics. And the 42-foot wide lot doesn't provide anything more than a garage door, and that's not, we don't want to see whole neighborhoods of garage doors. It's just not. not pleasant to live in a community of garage doors.
I think I would agree with both of you on that, because right now it seems like all we're seeing, I mean, this is definitely better than that.
I get it, like I said, I designed that one on purpose.
But all I'm seeing on this that I'm looking at right now is garage doors for alleyways. And then if that area here was more of the front unit and more of a courtyard for everyone to, you know, be a part of and have more of a neighborhood effect. Because that's what happened in Vineyard. They had some courtyard areas that was nice. But all I'm seeing right here is, this is the small back of the unit, and this is the front and the garages, and you don't really have that, you don't have that courtyard, and then you don't have that alleyway. Because, you know, really, like, I remember going up, I just came back from a conference up in Bend, Oregon this fall, and they had the alleyways that were really functional alleyways, and then they had the courtyard in the middle area, and that really made a nice transition for the whole neighborhood. And in the rear area, they had area, you know, in this area, they had areas for the utilities and things like that, and the dumpsters and that to be in that area. But then this area was really a courtyard area. And I think that's what I'm kind of missing on this, but I do like, you know, density, because I think we do need density out in that area, but I'm just struggling.
You're thinking that these should be the front
Yeah.
here, and we should, the alley, the garages and the alley it should be backloaded.
Yeah.
See, that's the way that my vision of it is, and to build on what you're saying, is that courtyard in between the two front doors, I guess.
Yes.
To me, that's better than looking out and seeing 3 cars parked out there.
Well, and right here, this looks like it's barely 15 feet between people's front doors. And so that's just not viable, so.
But I do agree with Uncle Jed that we do need density out in that area.
You know, the interesting thing about affordability, where I'm getting in my little mind, is it's gonna be driven by what the community can afford. And if it's gonna turn out to be a 900 square foot house, that's what they're gonna be.
235s.
235, been down that road and it worked. And so, to me, I think that, you know, in my mind is where it's been for quite a while is the need of the community, besides jobs, is you gotta have a house you can buy if you want to have people to build some wealth, to where sooner or later, maybe they can move somewhere else. And so I think we do need that density, because density, I used to think of it as just, but density is actually a solution.
Yeah.
But
It's just like after the
density
World
is
War,
asymptotic, you know.
50-foot lots here in Ogden City.
Yeah.
Those little bungalows are great homes.
Yeah.
They're
Yes.
old now, but they're still good homes.
But most of those 50-foot lots have garages behind, and that's what makes them,
And I think that's what we need here, is a garage in the back.
They had
Everything loaded from the back.
or a single car.
Everybody only had one
A single
car.
carport on the side, or they have the garage in the back of the home, and in order to do that, you need 50 feet of frontage in order to have a house and a driveway to get to that garage. So in our form-based code, we've thought of all of those different design aspects and trying to get to the smallest frontage we can get to without sacrificing desire. I mean, even for the builder's sake, the builder doesn't want to build homes that no one wants to live in.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
absolutely not.
you don't. And so I'm sure if you brought this to a different builder, they'd be like, yeah, I don't know that we can sell that.
No, that's the thing, so the people that I could sell this tomorrow if I had to.
But they wouldn't build 8 plexes and make it look like this, because they wouldn't be able to sell that.
They have 8 plexes, but you're right, they prefer 6s.
They-
Because to your point, they can sell 6 plexes, they can sell units in a 6-plex.
But once it's an 8-plex, aesthetically, someone says, I don't want to live there.
There are people, and so, yeah, you're right, they prefer 6s. like I said, I designed that one just to see what I could fit, knowing that I need to back out.
So,
So I hope I didn't say too much.
I think it's great for the density, and I understand that, and the affordability, and I'm about as big a champion in this room as there is for that. However, I think that what this was supposed to, that what this form base is supposed to be is not what I'm looking at right here. And I'm not seeing it out here specifically in front. I can deal with some high density back here. Maybe you put 2 rows of these together.
Okay.
Somehow, and I'm not sure how you would design that in order to accommodate for getting into the back of the first row. But I think that you're still tight. I mean, I think this is a little too tight. It wasn't what was envisioned in the general plan, but to the affordability factor, I'm willing to put up with not put up with, but I'm willing to encourage the high density. But I think that, you know, it's a little bit too much the way that it's laid out. You take even 1 row out of this and spread these a little bit and put the courtyard in the center and make these facing, I think that makes it a lot more acceptable for me than what we are looking at right here. I think that open courtyard with the front doors facing is much more appealing, and you can still get a pretty good amount of density in there if you take 1 row out and reassemble this a little bit.
Well, and the hard thing is, if I take out 1 row, I'm dealing with,
Blacktop for one side.
Well,
right,
if you take out, let's just say that you take out this half, if, whatever you're considering a row.
Right.
I'm considering this or this
Okay.
a row, not all together,
Yeah,
but
right, just
one
one,
side.
right.
If you take 1 out, you move this road over here, and this road moves a little bit slightly, then you got 2 rows of facing here, and maybe, now you wouldn't get 3, but you
Well,
get 2 nice rows of
and we
facing.
want so that's why I'm saying, if you take this row out, because this isn't very pleasing with all the driveways.
Hold that down, sir, so we can see.
And so then all of these are facing a public street, so you have a
Those
really
are.
pretty visual. These are facing a public street, then there's an alley. These 2 are facing
Yeah.
a larger courtyard,
Yeah.
that's what you're saying.
Each
And then
other.
you have to figure out how to get access to these ones
To the
because of, the alleyway
right.
there.
Right.
But I guess the idea with density is, I'm not that I'm against density, but there's a certain aesthetic to each density. And what we're looking at here is something that needs to be stacked into an apartment, not crunched into that many townhomes. And so if that's the amount of density we want, we just need to make sure that it meets the form-based code. So if the form-based code is saying you can't put that much density in a single-family home, then it needs to be a different product type. And maybe that product type works here, or maybe it doesn't, but that's why the form-based code exists, is to help you figure out what product type works for your density and gives the aesthetic. Does that make any sense?
Yes, it does, and or, what she said, and or, let's spread this density out just a little bit more.
Well, like, and if we were to do 6 plexes instead of 8 plexes, I know that
Yeah.
seems to be the general consensus.
But get us some smaller lots on this end
Okay.
that are single family and not attached,
Okay.
you know? I mean, I'd be willing to entertain what you have here, another section that's, you know, something like a patio home.
You're
Type
talking about
house
like
or-
phasing
or
them
something
in more
along
up
those
to
lines.
here, so it's a
If
gradual
we
change.
did,
Right.
Like this last row being single family, because they can't access them and just make them wider, so that.
Bigger,
And they're
yeah.
pretty shallow though, so it's gonna be hard.
The
So
big
if we
question
did-
is, can we go form based on this, if that park that the neighbor owns doesn't go park?
if I made
Because that was
this,
part of the deal back then.
It was for the general plan.
Yeah.
For the general plan, it was, yeah. But I don't know, that's a question for.
We would have to look at some type of, if they changed it, it would have to be an amendment to the general plan.
Because,
If the neighbor changed it.
right, because we truly don't know what he's going to do.
We don't.
if I made,
know. I wish they would know.
Yeah.
if I bring the road here, get rid of this one, just make these single family lots, make these, and put those single family lots, and then start working from that.
From there, Sarah, you put in Cammy, you got me input on this too. You don't wanna leave anybody out.
That's what work session means, right? Is that what?
Yeah.
Oh, just adding more single family homes is what you want to
Some
see.
on the end, and they don't even necessarily have to be as big a lots as those ones that are up on the very north.
Okay.
But just so.
These are pretty small already.
They're really small. I
What
think
are
the
they?
smallest they can do is,
These are 42 feet wide.
they're 42 wide, they're about 4,200 square
Okay.
feet. They're right around
Right, that's
4,000.
small. Never mind. Then
Yeah,
they
they're
gotta
really
be-
small.
They gotta be that.
Yeah, no, I
I
got
didn't
it.
realize. I didn't realize. Well, that's what happens when you can't see. And I'm
You know what I
looking at
got
stuff
everybody in
that's
our office for Christmas?
A magnifying glass?
Yes, I got them all magnifying glasses.
Bring us all one.
I will.
At least we can use one.
You
Okay.
guys just wait.
So, yeah, I'd say that you need some more.
Okay.
And at 100 feet deep, as long as you've got 50 feet wide for single family lots and 100 feet deep, you should be able to do the detached garage behind.
Okay.
I'm trying to think if you can do it at 40 with the 30. We probably,
Well, I
if
think
you
these
do,
these are to the code. I mean, the code allows for 40 feet wide, right?
it does, but not with a garage facing forward on the public street. That's where you end up.
Flagship bring something in, Sarah.
Mhm.
Remember them? And they were on 30-foot lots.
But they're all rear, the garage is all behind. They're all rear
Oh,
entry
they're
garage.
all
Yeah.
alley?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so in order to have, for the single family lots in the code, you have to have, I'm pretty sure it's 50 feet of, or it's a percentage. It doesn't say how many, but only a certain percentage of the frontage can be garage, so you can't.
18%
What was
of
it?
the lot width. can be
80%?
18%.
Only 18% of the
That's right,
frontage.
but see, that footnote in the code is
Mhm.
where I'm saying that it doesn't apply, that doesn't apply to the townhomes.
To the townhomes.
What, Counselor, you want to check me on that?
I will check up on that later.
Yes. That's the right answer, I know.
But I think the intention is, whether it's a single family home or a townhome, we don't want garage door Cs. And it's just,
Yeah, and then bring us back something that shows rear loading.
Do you want more rear load on this? That's what you want?
well, and so right here, this is where, however, if you expand this to here, and even if you just have the one straight here or whatever, if you eliminate these here and then push this open right here.
Yeah.
So that this is the front of your homes and that's the big courtyard and the front of the homes for these ones. And then these front of these homes will face this public street. So then when you're driving by, you're seeing front of homes here, alleyway for rear, and then as you're driving through, you'll see a large courtyard here, and then the front of the homes are on either side, and that gives you the open space for the townhome development as well.
How many in that one row townhomes that take out?
I don't know, but
Okay.
it's
Well, I mean, we didn't.
a lot more units than one per acre, so still a deal.
Is anybody,
That's all I'm saying.
I know we're talking about the rear load because we like the looks of it, but has anybody actually lived in one or have somebody that they know that lives in
24,
one?
Jim.
Cause I've stayed in them as an
24.
Airbnb, and it's nice as far as the looks, but then all the kids, everybody's playing on the main road, right in front of the main road.
Well-
That's the grass area they have, because the rear load is all concrete and driveway, right, for garages.
Ideally, these would have detached garages in the back and a little yard in the area before you have the garage for like a row house, but it's a townhome.
That's what I'm saying, so that's like
yeah.
young kids, so. they're
The
gonna try to find a
courtyard in
long
the
strip
front,
somewhere.
the courtyard in the front would be where they play. So the townhomes that do have the courtyard entrance, they would play in the front of their house instead of in the back.
Yeah, so is that,
Which is, the courtyard is on the public street, right?
No, it'd be right here. No.
courtyard's between the two homes?
Between these two homes right here, this is where we're trying to expand this area and put it through here. So there's a big courtyard for the front of the home here.
Green.
There's no road there.
So the front doors are facing, Casey, they're facing each other in those
Okay.
rows, and then
I'll
that's
send
where
you some
the.
pictures of a development in Layton that did it really well.
That'd be great.
Because I agree, yeah.
Porches on each side, so they're facing the traffic.
Cause that's what, like, I thought that was nice when we went to Vineyard, and then I stayed in one in St. George, and I'm like, oh, like, my kids there just as a vacation for the weekend,
Yeah,
they're
there's
all
nowhere
playing
to go.
right by the road, and that's it. And I'm like, I don't know that I really like it. They had, I mean, it was a big front yard that they had, cause they did it well, but it's still, they're right there next to the road. And so
Yeah,
you're
we
constantly
saved the
watching
same
to see
place.
who's pulling down the street.
Same way.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's nice because there's plenty of area there, but if you're looking at it as a safety thing, if I was to own one with small kids, I'd be like, no, I want the area in the back where I don't have to worry about who's driving on the road constantly. Fine, but
Question, so if you take 24 units out of that, is that comfortable for you?
Yeah.
And that gives Sarah greenery right here with Hubble.
he already admitted that he threw another extra 80 in there just so that we, it looked like he was giving some.
I'm still talking pertaining to houses.
Right now, you got one appraiser.
He's like, I just did that so it looked like I was giving you something.
If he sells that to D.R. Horton, they build attainable homes.
So let's roll back to the question
Almost
about
said
the
something.
park. So is this even something that we can do if we don't have that park over there? And I think the answer to that was a question mark.
It did, didn't it?
Right?
We could approve this right now with that being on the general plan.
That changed.
Right next to the garage.
And
He owned all this.
Would we really want to do that?
That was, I think it was one of the first meetings.
I would
He was-
leave that up to you, but I think from our side of things, we'd probably be discretionary.
Yeah. Well, if we're sticking to the form-based code a lot more strictly, that we were kind of like, you know, you know, with experience, that we got, I need to redesign this anyway. So
So the other thought is just along, and I have to ask, I'm not sure what the form-based code idea is along here, but I would picture commercial buildings with apartments above and then parking right here. So that would come further to here. So we'd expand the single family to here, expand that here, and then this would just be the smaller
Yeah.
townhome area.
And you can have your parking in front too. I mean, the code allows for the parking to be in front too.
But we need behind for
But we
the
need behind,
apartments.
and we need accessibility for delivery.
Yeah. So that would cut into a lot, but you
And
get a lot
that's
of
more what I
units.
thought we were talking about when we were talking about form-based. Yeah. And if it wasn't, then I don't like form-based.
No,
If this is form-based, it's not.
and I don't blame you for.
Not all sleep through the meetings, yeah.
Good man.
I think probably take some of these suggestions, let's come back in work session.
Let me ask you this, what if along the public street, if we had other single-family lots in here, so I got something on the public street instead of just nothing?
Well, I think the front of the townhomes would be really pretty on the public street. I don't think that, as long as you eliminate these, or if you want to, these are still too dense, even just the way this is right now.
Well, right, but
you're gonna have to eliminate a row.
just the ones up here, because these are still front load. You know, these are still front of they just have a couple garages in front.
Personally, anytime you do single unit homes, I like that better. So if you're willing to do that there, I mean, you're gonna lose density, right? By offering them.
So you'd eliminate this one back here and then make these single family so you could open this up in the middle. Is that the idea?
Well, I'm wondering if I make these single family, and then I got to make single family here, and then I was thinking maybe do some kind of, you know, road connecting down through here, and still try to, you know, modify the commercial side in a little bit, and then make these sixplexes to kind of open that up a little bit, maybe lose a little density.
I think you just, this way, you're gonna have to lose a row one way or another, because like this distance right here is too tight. These are wider than you would need for an alleyway, so you can gain some, you know, narrow up your private alleyways. But 18 feet deep doesn't fit your Ford F-150, and one out of every, I think I looked into it, 1 out of every 3 homes is gonna have a Ford F-150.
That many?
Yes.
Ford isn't that popular, come on.
Okay, or it's gonna, it's not a Ford F-150, but a car that size.
All right.
And so your alleyway,
What's been your experience then with the depth of the driveway?
I would say 24 feet. And if it's 24 feet, I really think is what you need to
The
make
depth
sure
of the
that
garage?
the driveway, so we don't have the cars in the sidewalk.
That's actually been one of my criticisms about development in general over the last 30 years.
Oh, okay.
Before I've been doing this is the size of garages. I hate the widths of garages and the people who have to you have to get out, you have to let everybody else out before you get into the garage.
So I'd say the minimum width of the townhome has to be 25 feet, or because the width of the garage. If you don't have a 24-foot interior dimension garage, two normal mid-sized cars can't fit in it, and then we lose our parking, and then people don't park in it because they can't park in it. And so for me, 24-foot wide garages and 24, 25, or 25, 25, like once you get your walls in or whatever, and 24 to 25-foot deep driveways, I think are what make them actually usable and functional. Otherwise, I feel like it's just one car, and we're actually losing space instead of gaining it, if that makes sense.
I'll take that back to my bosses and see what
And
they say.
then, you know, just
That's what we're requiring in Harrison.
a pie in the sky other thing to think about, and maybe you already have, maybe you are having some conversation, but is there any chance you're gonna be able to buy that corner of the rest of that property? Because that would.
You ever lick a wound?
Depends on where it's at. Anyway.
I'm leaving.
Two on the other.
I asked.
Andrew Favero. That's what your mother would say.
Commissioner Favero, let me answer that directly.
Some of them are hard to get to.
There are always, there's always a chance, right? I mean, everything's for sale at the right price.
Well, and the only reason I'm saying that is because it would really fulfill what the vision for that parcel.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be when we did the general plan, working with your neighbor and, you know, all of that. It's like we're just coming to it's like I said, it's like a big dog and two little dogs. It's like you got all this density, and then on one side you got kind of a more normal, what we're used to neighborhood, and on the other side, we don't know what we're gonna have.
Right.
And so
there's always an option, but right now the answer is no.
Okay, and that's fair.
And you know, for all the reasons that everyone knows.
Right.
Well, when anybody that buys it, loads of parks there, once they look at the general plan, maintenance, I'm not all buggered up with that. Yeah.
And I have to be a little bit apologetic too, because this is the first area where we're gonna be throwing this out.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna be very meticulous on what gets approved here.
Well, look, but you know, if you're willing to let us work with you too, I mean, I think we have a good working relationship with you.
Yes, definitely.
I hope.
And
I hope so.
And we can definitely chat internally before we come to another work session too, if you'd like.
You know me. I show up unannounced all the time.
That's true.
To everybody's chagrin. I know that.
So, yeah, give that some thought and see what you think you can do with it based on the suggestions you've got. And then bring it back. Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
But, I think everybody gave you some pretty honest and open answers.
Oh, no, I would not.
Well, good.
That's a problem we have with you, Sarah.
It was your lucky day.
Who did you hold back? Who did you hold back?
You're a good sport to deal with me, thank you.
Wait until she really turned herself loose. Look out.
I've gotten worse from
Well, hopefully,
higher up.
hopefully it's productive for you, because I think that's the intent that everyone.
Yeah, that's the point of this. And
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons I wanted to go last. Can you imagine if the other guy was still sitting here going, come on, Sal, wrap it up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, and I have to be.
I know. I know you're all still thinking that anyway.
I got a question off there. What do they do with that blacktop that's been sitting there? I think it's this one.
Is it best we get these back,
Oh,
so they're
you
not
can have
floating
it.
around in the.
You can keep them if you want.
Just to the north of.
Yeah,
where this is.
well,
Where is it?
actually it's to the east.
Blacktop to the
Yeah,
east.
isn't there a subdivision there in South?
Oh, well, the one immediately to the east, Cherokee Barn?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Well, I don't, if you know, I just, it's a long time to have it sit like that.
it's in the process. It's been wrapped up and, you know.
No, I don't, that's what I'm asking.
We're getting stuff worked out. And they're actually building on a couple of the lots now. So, it's still,
So you're talking about blacktop that's actually laid and ready.
it's been there for several years. Yeah, they're working on it.
You got a few burnouts on it, don't you?
No, I just could see it coming out of my pocket.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions, or would you guys, you can keep these if you want, I don't know.
So are you Sierra?
Yeah, Sierra's little brother. Yeah, they're kind of a sister company. So Sierra does the building, they do the vertical, and we do the horizontal.
So you're just like, not like this, you're kind of like what this one does you take, or what you do they take?
Yeah, so so Jay Stocking had Sierra, I think Jeff, his brother, they do Sierra, and they're builders. And if you want to build, but you don't have anything to build on, you got to go find land. And so we started doing the land development. And then with Aaron Robertson, he's really good at what he does. And we started developing way more than they could buy from us, or that they could take. So now we open up to where we sell to some of the nationals. So that's why we sell to D.R. Horton and Richmond and some of these others. But Sierra is our primary customer.
They get first pick.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What?
I'm just, Aaron's really bad
How do you think he would have reacted?
On that note though, thank you for having the discussion, because that helps us to understand where you're coming from in open discussion and back and forth, like suggesting things. When it's just like, well, I don't know, I'll have to see if it works out. That doesn't help us help you. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I just wish we could do, I wish we could do this more often.
Trying to say that as nice
I hate to say that, right? Because how many people come and go, I like hanging out with you guys. I enjoy these kinds of things. I think they're productive. I wish that we do it more frequently because we move pretty fast.
Oh, trust me, you don't wish for that.
No, we move really fast. And so the faster we can get things approved, the better we're doing. So, yeah, no, if I could, literally, if I could come back next week, I would have everything changed. I'd have everything ready to go, and you guys would be like, all right, great, Sally made some progress. But once a month is killing you guys.
It's killing us.
You know, we like to keep our eyes on it, so that's why we limit it to once a month.
I know, I understand, and you guys are all busy, you got lives, right? Liam doesn't.
No, this is it. The highlight.
Liam's got a better name. Liam's got a better name.
Yeah, I occasionally walk out when I want to.
When Sarah's talking about F-150, I'm like, I know an attorney that can park an F-150 anywhere. Then you can take it on any road too.
He doesn't start going until.
Well, I drive an Expedition Max, which is pretty much the same size.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
See you someone.
All right, so
And I was
I
like,
presume we're gonna
Not
start.
Utah.
not in Weaver County.
Thank you.
And that's
All right, Felix, we're on WS4, discussion regarding Western Weaver General Plan amendments to include excerpts from the Ogden Valley General Plan that apply to the Ogden Canyon Forest Zones and Resort Zone.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll just start off the discussion to kind of get our minds in the right place here. So we're going to kind of shift gears from Western Weber, and we're going to go up the mountain up near Pineview. So you can see the area in yellow. We have the unincorporated area, the new city that's forming, and much of that area is on the flat areas. You know, you've got a lot of farm ground. You have some areas up on the hillside there in the mountainous areas, but what was left over is your forested areas. You know, there's a lot of national forest property up there, and there's also resorts. So you guys are well aware we have Snow Basin and we have Powder Mountain. Okay, so if we take a look at the code, so for forest zones, we'd be looking at the intent of the forest zone is to protect and preserve the natural environment of those areas of the county that are characterized by mountainous, forested, or naturalistic land, and permit development compatible to the preservation of those areas. So this kind of helps to kind of guide what the purpose and intent of the forest zones are. You've got really large properties, 5 acres plus, some up to 40 acres. You have areas that will continue to be preserved as naturalistic environments, preserve scenic corridors, preserve streams and waterways. So a lot of those forest areas, you can expect that those will pretty much remain the same, largely undeveloped. You might see a conditional use permit here and there, maybe a bed and breakfast, maybe something recreation related, but very small scale, like mom and pop stuff. The majority of what we're going to see for as far as reviews, applications, developments are going to be in the resort areas, the destination, recreation, and resort. And so what the planning department is undertaking right now is going through the Ogden Valley's general plan and selecting out some pieces of that plan, bringing the exact verbiage over, including it with the Weber County general plan as kind of an addendum. Eventually, we're going to have to, do a more comprehensive approach and bring in a lot of that stuff to the Weber County plan. But I think this is just kind of a fix. That way, we have some guidance when we see a development plan come in. We have some guidance you have a pretty well-equipped toolbox to reference in the zone code and the general plan excerpts that we're going to bring over. And so what I'm in the process of doing right now is actually just going through the Ogden Valley general plan page by page. I'm doing word searches just to kind of refine and find exactly what we can use, and I'm bringing it over and making a selection and creating a separate document that we would then use. And so what I'd like to do is bring this back before you as a public hearing, or we could do another work session if we're feeling that's probably, I guess maybe at a staff level we'll have to look at it and see how comfortable we are with
I trust you,
something
Felix.
like that.
Just
What do you
figure
feel?
it out.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, what do you feel? Do we need another meeting or no?
I'm thinking probably not, but I think I probably want to talk to, Rick and Charlie and everybody else to see what
I think we should leave it up to Rick and Charlie and
Yeah.
run with it.
Yeah.
I'd also like to visit with the county commissioners and just see where they are, and then also see if we can add a few things to it for the cleanup.
Maybe something in the form-based code specifically about townhomes. Just saying.
Seems how we just talked on it for an hour.
So yeah, I mean, as far as recreation goes and actually having that as part of the Weber County, I think it's a real gem. I think there's a lot of good potential. We still have North Fork Park up there that is a beautiful place to recreate if you guys haven't been up there. There's a couple of remote like cabin developments, Causey Estates, Evergreen Park, Sourdough. A lot of these are kind of your remote
Cabinish.
Yeah, they're just way out in the boonies, and which pretty interesting, pretty unique part of Weber County that we have access to. A lot of good hunting and fishing up in these areas. So obviously parts that you would want to preserve and protect. But yeah, that's kind of where I don't want to use up too much oxygen here, but that's pretty much it.
Well, if we have that as part of as an overall general, part of the general plan that we have for Western Weber, and recreation's a big portion of that. Maybe we can get that Mosquito Bay project going out there.
There we
We're
go.
Working on.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Out where?
Out near Blue Mountain. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Hunt all the mosquitoes you want.
Yeah. They're free.
They're done. That's, it's like shooting a teal duck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's all
be
good.
careful. Fish and Game says you can only kill 6 mosquitoes per shot. Some days you kill 10,000 of them.
So, yeah, if you guys feel like we need another work session on it, great. I wouldn't mind having just not a real in-depth, but kind of an overview of what it is, just to get just a little bit familiar with it.
Yeah.
And that's, just so that when we're talking about that stuff, we kind of have an idea. Or maybe as we're, as we get applications for stuff like that, if you bring us the excerpt from the general plan that goes with it, maybe that's just as good. So, we're just a lot more familiar with this one because we helped create it, part of the process, so anyway. Okay. Anything else, commissioners? You gotta ask. So you're 2 meetings in. What do you think?
Lot to learn still, but no, it's going good.
Glad you did it, or
Yeah, no,
looking for the door?
No, that's good. I like to learn, and yeah.
Good.
When we got here, he asked me, he's like, what day of the month do we get paid for this?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting, I'm not sure.
Talk to the director.
It's the 12th of never.
Yeah.